How you all doing? What's up? What's up, players? How you doing? This is Monster Sports Entertainment. This is the beginning by default and past conversations. This is the beginning, if he likes it or not, the beginning of the BS wrestling reviews. B Blaze, S Sean, makes sense. He's on here when he's on here. When he's not on here, it's me yapping about wrestling either way. So that's that. You've been told. You've been told. So hi, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed WrestleMania. It was good stuff. Entertaining, to say the least. Mark Caliber's in the house. How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. Come on in. What's up? What's up? Yeah. Just waiting for Blaze to pop in. But we're going to get started because, yeah, got lots to break down, lots to discuss here. So, WrestleMania 37 was hit and miss at the beginning, wondering if it was even going to start. Weather. The bad part about having arena-style wrestling, I guess, events. Arena-style any sports events, let's face it, right? It's kind of unpredictable is the best word. And, yeah, I don't know what else to add to that besides we're lucky we even had a WrestleMania. It was that bad. So, trying to think. About a half-hour rain delay first night, give or take. And second night, it rained all day there. There were storms. I have a connection that lives in the Tampa area. They told me about it too. They said in the morning when I was talking to them at 10, they said thunder and lightning woke them up. And, yeah. So I'm like, oh, I wonder if night 2 is even going to happen. And it did. So win-win. Vinnie Mac came out to welcome everybody back. All the WWS Universe fans. It was kind of nice. It was a feel-good moment when he went out and said, there was something missing this whole year. It was you guys. So basically, welcome back. Good to have you all. And I haven't really watched wrestling for about a year myself. How you doing? Welcome. Good to have you here. Afro Hair Lifestyle. Smash that thumbs up button. Anybody on your way in? I appreciate that. Are you a wrestling fan? Just throwing that out there. Not sure. Maybe you are. Good to have you. Either way. Vinnie Mac came out. Feel good moment. Even all the stars had tears in their eyes when he said that. And everybody at the commentary booth. Booker T was a little teary-eyed from it all because they're feeling the energy. The energy was missing. And they got that back. So they got a lot to work with there. National anthem happened. BB Rexa sings the national anthem. MBA's in the house. Boop, boop. There he is. How you doing? Good to see you. Bromance is in the house. MBA. Good to have you. Welcome. Little wrestling talk. WrestleMania night 1 and 2 in Tampa Bay. Lots of thunder, rain, and lightning to start that one off. It barely even... They just got lucky. Let's face it. That's the only reason. They even got to pull that off. So BB Rexa sings the national anthem. Random interviews. Because they were trying to kill time. They were just like slipping people in. Like they were grabbing people backstage. They're very unprepared for the rain possibility. It seems like. They were just randomly grabbing people. Shane, Drew, Lashley. I think Kevin Owens was thrown in there. There's a lot of people thrown in, and they were just like, come here, quick, come for an interview live. They were trying to fill in time while it rained really, really, really freaking bad. Me and Madison watched both nights, 1 and 2. We'll get into if I enjoyed it or not. I was glued. Either way, I'll say that much. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you here. Yeah, after the rain delay, host Hogan and Titus came out. They booed the hell out of Hulk Hogan and Titus. And let me get my co-host. How you doing? Good to see you. How's it going? Savvy one in the house. Let's connect. There's your boy, Blaze McCoy. Hello.
Yo, yo, yo.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I had a little late lunch, so I'm running a little late. But did I hear you say that we didn't know whether or not we were going to get a Mania?
Ooh. Hello. It's delayed now. Delayed, sort of like WrestleMania.
Yeah, there you go. I figured come in fashionably late there, but I did hear you say that we didn't know whether or not. So that was a nice pun way to start it out. Yeah. The crowd applauds you.
Slow little golf clap. Yeah. Wild Eyed Eddie in the house.
Savvy's in the house.
Oh,
you got Caliber, Afro Hair, Tito,
NBA, bromance. Appreciate
NBA,
everybody. Great to have you all. Smash the thumbs up button. You know how to do it. Share the shit
share it out. We're gonna shoot the shit here about supposed to be the biggest show of the year, but that's still a lot left of the year to go, right?
True.
The biggest spectacle of the year. We can obviously say that.
How did you feel about the Vince McMahon feel-good moment when he came out and everybody got all hell emotional, all in their feelings?
Well, it's good to see him show his face, and then
it really was.
Like you said, when Titus and Hogan came out, now it was a recurring theme throughout both nights. I have no confirmation on this or no proof, but I really think there was some canned cheering. They were pinning some cheering in there to a lot of the different people. Like I saw a replay where they showed crowd reactions where Hogan did, like you said, get really booed, but it was hard to tell.
I knew that's where you were headed, the Hogan thing.
It was hard to tell on the camera, on the live stream, because it seemed like it was a bunch of cheers. But I mean, it was going to be a little different, so you didn't get true hosting throughout the show. You just got them at the beginning, and then we got a little more taste of them on the second night, which we'll get to.
He got booed so bad. Hogan I wasn't expecting that. Were you?
When you first get the live crowd and the things that Hogan's done, so I didn't think that he wouldn't get booed, but I kind of figured they'd try to cover it up and whatnot. My thing is, hey, if I was Vince, I would kind of run with it. I'd to bring Hogan back on TV now that he's been on. Why not bring him back and full heel Hogan on TV? I'd like it.
I wouldn't be mad at that either.
Let him. I joked about it last night on my stream. I said, bring him back and let him manage Retribution or something.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, something. I mean, if you're going to have Hogan there and he's going to get booed and you're going to use his name, which you could still use his name until he passes away, because he's an icon regardless of the people that disagree or don't like what he's done or what he's doing. But Damien's here, Firestar's here, Machete, Sabri. Good to see you guys.
Hello.
But yeah, I think it was kind of funny that they put those two together because of past things that Hogan's done. But once again, it does bring some unity. It shows some unity. We talked about that on our NXT review, and we were talking about a preview of Mania.
That's an interesting situation. It's kind of backfired.
Well, I jokingly, as I tweeted throughout both Manias, that I like to call it Cringe-mania. And there was a lot of cringy points at this Mania, both of them.
Oh, big time.
More unsuspecting botches in the ring than normally, but
and outside.
And I mentioned that before too, and you mentioned AEW does a show down in Jacksonville all the time in an partially outdoor venue. And during night one, and Tony Khan got some crap for doing this, which I don't think is anything wrong with it at all. He's basically trying to help them. He tweeted out that, hey, here's the precautions we take whenever we have rain. And they replaced the ramps and everything around the ring with carpet so people don't slip. And they reinforced the mask law a lot more than WWE did over the weekend, obviously, if you guys were watching the fans.
Damn.
Even people were taking pictures of the commentating crew and pointing out that the fans in the back, hardly any of them had masks on.
That's a huge problem. I noticed that right away because in Ontario, everybody's masked up. In my province, which is like a state to you guys, everybody's masked up. So it really threw me. I don't know why it threw me off. It is Florida.
Yeah, there's a lot of places like Florida.
I don't know why I was so shocked because it is Florida. They're pretending it.
Florida and Texas have had Yeah, they've had relaxed rules about it. From
That's a
what
good
I
word.
hear.
Relaxed.
Yeah, and but the last thing you want coming out of your first show, the biggest show supposedly of the year, is a big strain of COVID down in around your area because you didn't watch it as well. But that's what Tony Khan said from AEW. He says we space everybody out. We have security enforcing the mask as best we can. You know, I saw some of the wrestlers that came around the ring. You know, the first thing they wanted to do was go back to the way they used to, slapping fives, hugging fans and stuff like that. But you can also tell they were a little bit leery. Lana didn't go anywhere near the fans where Naomi did around slapping fives. So I could tell. To me, I thought Lana was being super cautious. He wasn't going anywhere near the fans at ringside. But Naomi kind of, and I get it. You know, it's habit. You finally have fans back, and you want to go slap five with them or give them their respect, especially the ones in the front row, like green shirt guy who is back.
Yeah, that's funny. You sent me the thing. I was laughing. He's back. I was like, oh, Brock Lesnar has a great disguise.
but it was you know, I mean, I don't want to say a learning experience because they're such a great big huge multi-million-dollar company. You'd think they'd think of a lot of this, but even when, and we'll talk about it at night too, when Daniel Bryan came out and got the yes chance, he was smiling from ear to ear. You could tell he just loved having the crowd there.
That had to feel damn good.
And I mean, it made more sense once that when we'll get to that match. It'll be the last match, but when we get to that match. Now you kind of realize because he's such a great worker why Daniel Bryan was thrown in there. Plus, you want the big yes chance. And the crowd, probably one of the loudest that I've heard them was during the yes chance.
I was with everybody else. I was against the Bryan even being in the match, but I understand now, like you said, why. We'll get into that, like you said.
It was just saying,
just give me 1 sec. Yeah, go ahead.
They just said, H&R Block, would you like to
make an appointment?
Tax
guys trying to get my money. The money I don't have.
The Block's got your back.
What's that?
The Block's got your back, isn't that their new
You got my back, all right.
Mike in the ring. Good to see.
Let's get into match one.
Yep, go for it.
Bobby Lashley champ versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Equals. They're both like equal size. A lot of physical. No, I can't even call it striking. It was just brutal punches, brutal hits, which you would expect from those two guys, right?
Yeah. They both have a huge following as far as fan bases go. People really love the fact that Drew finally got a title run. A lot of people really love the fact that Lashley got his shine and got his title run. And he looks like a monster. You got to admit it. And a lot of times you see the extras, the so-called managers or enforcers get involved or be involved too much. But MVP does a really good job of supplementing Lashley, in my opinion.
He supplements everybody great, I think.
But I mean, there was a lot of question out there whether that match should start WrestleMania or not. So I see it both ways, and I'm always the one to play devil's advocate and try to look at both sides of the coin. People wanted it to be a main event, but we will realize after the main event why they picked what was night one's main event. But and also at the same time, I thought what a hell of a way to kick off a show with real excitement and a big time match. Now,
the one major thing, what do you think about the ending to that match? We don't have to get into the rest of it. There was the big spots as per usual, right? Unless you have anything to add in between before we get to the finish.
I think if you're gonna, I get into the whole philosophy of not having someone take a 3 count, which I think is such bullcrap with wrestling because that's part of the game. But I mean, if you're gonna have Lashley win and look super dominant, it's with the hurt lock and just passing out Drew. I think if you're going to go that far,
it made him look super strong.
Yeah, if you're going to go that far, I think and Drew fought it off like twice. He tried to get the hurt lock in, he fought it off. I don't see any difference between him passing out to him tapping a few times. To me, I mean, he's still going out, but to have like the referee call the match basically right as it was pretty quick. Like I think that was the theme for this Mania too. A lot of people I've seen on Twitter and social media saying, "Man, all the matches were 10 minutes or under. There was no marathon or big time match." But
it usually is, though. No.
Yeah, there are. But once again, they're trying to fight the weather. They're trying to make sure they don't stay out there super long for 3 or 4 hours. That's why they split it up into 2 nights. So I mean, I kind of understand it. But I mean, out of both nights, I have like a top 3 that I put as great matches. The other ones I didn't like as much. So, and I think that one was one of the good ones.
See, I wasn't too mad at the whole time of actual matches. There was a few I wish I had like 10 minutes more, but not many. Like there was like maybe 3. I was like, I wish that one was a bit longer. I wish that one was a bit longer, but not all of them. All of them didn't deserve it. All of them didn't need it. I don't know. So right after that, we go right to backstage with NWO. They're all the boys, Hall of Famers now. Well, again, I guess is the better word, again. And there's Karen Cool, Soccer Mom Bailey. What do you think of that one?
She's the cringiest of all the cringe of Cringeomania. In my opinion. I know you're supposed to hate her. You're supposed to not like her. She's very Karen-ish.
Very Karen. Soccer Mom Karen.
I mean, I think she's trying to be even more annoying than normal. And I mean, to me, there's such a thing as because everyone's a character. You got to. But in WWE, it seems like they're over character-y sometimes. And
they always have been.
Maybe, yeah, I know, and it's always been a part of it. Maybe spread it on a little too thick, Bailey, but she wanted to get big time heat. I mean, she had total reason to be too. She didn't get her ding dong hello TV show basically segment. She wasn't in a match. So I mean, I think if I was her, she should have brought that up more. Like, why am I not fighting? It was more her behind the scenes character than it is, hey, I'm one of the best. I've been former champion. I mean, I should be in the ring, but she didn't really do that as much. But yeah, she was cringe.
She was super cringy, but like you said, it was on purpose.
Yeah, she
went way too far with it on purpose. Some, like you said, some like it, some don't. But at least she made the most of her little bit of time that she got since she never got a freaking match.
Yeah, true. And even more so in night 2, which we'll get to. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with interjecting someone who doesn't have a match at Mania in some way, shape, or form like that to give them a little bit of shine. It's WrestleMania, man. It goes all the way back. Celebrities and stuff like that have been a part of it since the first night, the first WrestleMania. I mean, Mr. T was in the main event of WrestleMania.
Was it Liberace in the first one?
Yeah, I mean, they've had so the celebrity aspect has always been there. Whether or not, now my opinion may vary here, is when you bring a celebrity in to actually fight or be in the ring or near the ring, I think it's good. You want to see them out there, but at the same time, people like Ricochet, people like Aleister Black, they're sitting in the back probably thinking, that should be me.
If it wasn't for LT and Bam Bam Bigelow, I would have never started even looking into the Giants. I wasn't even or football.
Yeah,
so I mean, that match got me into football.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. I mean, worldwide, that's a little different. Yep. And they definitely did that with the celebrities, Bad Bunny and Logan Paul this time around too, because they're two of the most popular. As much as people hate them, and much people love them. I call him Pogan Lol, LOL, baby. But yeah, I mean, they're drawing heat, and Bad Bunny has a huge fan base, and we'll get to those as well. But I get the whole backstage, get other people involved. What I don't know if you mentioned it, I did step a little late, but there was the rain delay did bring something unexpected to the show, and I wanted a bunch of unexpected stuff, and it was the non-scripted promos because they were like, "Hey,
touched on that.
Get people back there, get them talking, do something while we're waiting for the rain to go away." And there was a lot of backlash from it, and there was a lot of people that loved it. And I try to stay impartial, but this is a review show, so I'm going to give my opinion. It's just our opinion.
Well, yeah, of course.
At the same time,
it was like sink or swim time. Like they were basically grabbing people. Do you want? Were they even asked? Probably not.
I'm not sure. They probably, and I'm sure the big guy had something to do with it. And production was like, "Hey, we got to get this person out there to talk, to hype up their show, to use some time." I hope that it at least gets them to understand that these guys can do unscripted promos very well. Some of them. I mean, but here's what you do. You give them a topic. You tell them, you prep them a little more than they had that night. It was like, here, go talk about your match. So it can screw up. But that's old school, dude. We talked about NWA and the interview booth and the interview table and stuff like that. And then you go back to how Flair and the Road Warriors and them used to cut promos. They
knew where they were headed, but none of it was scripted.
Yeah. Right. I miss that. And I think the raw interview stuff really still has a big place in wrestling, and you don't see enough of it in WWE and you see some of them that fumble over lines and stuff because they're afraid they got to cover it all. They got to make sure they cover this, and so they are actors, they are performers, entertainers at the same time.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with it.
But like you said, it was nice to see that other side of it, the spontaneous stuff, and
I want to mention it later on because one of my favorite wrestlers, and I did watch half of the Broken Skull sessions with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Chris
I was
Jericho
so tired. I
last
caught
night.
the first half hour, and I had to go to bed. So now I got to watch the replay. But we can talk about that.
Yeah, I watched the first hour. I still got to watch the second. But Jericho brought a lot of those points up about back in the day. He would actually have a say in his own promos. Like when he made fun of Dean Malenko's 1,004 holds, he said he had 1,005, and every other one was armbar.
yeah. Every
So I mean, stuff like that. You let and I'm not saying that Vince and them don't let the characters have say in what they're going to say.
Wasn't it amazing what Jericho said about during commercial breaks? What he did to get the crowd all pissed off.
Oh yeah, just talk. Well, that's a staple of old school fill in the arena and talk bad about their sports teams to get heat. I thought it was more surprising that he said that Vince McMahon, the first time he went into Vince's house, he sat down at a table. They were doing a booking session, and they were talking about a match. And Vince turns to Chris and goes, "What do you think should happen, Chris?" So that's like putting him on the spot. But the stories, if you guys haven't seen the Broken Skull sessions with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Jericho, I won't get too much into it, but it's just great. They're sitting there doing shots, drinking beer, drinking.
Yeah, I seen them out at the third shot. I think I got to their third shot.
They're not allowed to say shit apparently, but they got bleeped out a bunch of times saying that, which is also funny because it's actually in night 2. It was Nia said it in the ring. You ain't. And they tried to bleep it off, and they missed it completely. So she did get the S word out on WrestleMania.
I know that we caught that right away. We're like, you noticed they blanked it after she said it.
Yeah. So the 5-second delay, or whatever they have, or whoever was on the button, so to speak. I don't know if he still has his job today after that.
Probably not. So next match: Lana, Naomi, Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose. Oh yeah, we'll get to that. And then Natalia, Tamina, Billie Kay, and Carmella thrown together, and the Riot Squad, tag team turmoil. Go ahead, break her down.
Joker and Harley Quinn outfits for the Riot Squad. Oh my goodness, that was just utterly awesome. They looked like a tag team. They did amazing double team maneuvers. So I think Joker and Harley Quinn as Ruby Riott. Oh, and Liv Morgan, one of my favorites, was amazing.
Yeah, there were the diamonds in the rough in that match for sure.
And I think that's a perfect example of what they did too. I mean, when they come out early, you don't really think they were going to. I thought they might have had a chance to win, but it's a perfect example of not winning a match and still getting really over as a tag team. They got 2 eliminations, I think.
They looked very, very strong. They held their own. Liv was selling everything, and it all came together nicely for them, for sure. But
D-Train's in the building.
D-Train.
He likes Ruby Riott also, yeah. And their attire was so spot on. I mean, it looked great. They looked great, and I think they stole the show in that match. And of course, you got to talk about Mandy Rose falling on her dupa on the way down the ramp.
Yeah, and once again, totally not her fault. That could have been preventable.
But you got to Titus O'Neil that thing and own it.
And she did.
It happens.
She went to Twitter. She went to Twitter, and I think her words were "bitches be slipping."
Yeah, and at the same time, I mean, at the same time, you can go back to what I said earlier in preparedness. I mean, you got that much rain. Is the graphics on the ramp as more important than your performers being safe?
Right.
So, like Tony Khan said, hey, we put carpet down whenever we have thunderstorms here in Jacksonville. So Mandy could also be.
What happened if she broke her leg on the way down?
Exactly. She tore her Achilles or something. She couldn't even perform. But it was the fact that Mandy. She snapped right out of it. I mean, if you go all the way,
thank you.
She was on Tough Enough way back, trying to earn her spot, and she was the greenest of green. She looked like she'd never make it as a wrestler. But Mandy Rose, I mean, she shows how far she's come. And granted, her and what's her name are not even one of my favorite teams at all. But for her to fall like that, pull herself together, and still do very well in the match, that shows a lot. And she's a professional now. I give her
total
credit.
professional. I think very highly of Mandy Rose altogether. And like you said, she took advantage of her misfortune. Even her and Sonya Deville have a donut review thing. I think it's on YouTube even. And Demandy's Donuts or something they call it.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
And in their merch, like right after, like it wasn't. I think it was the same night or the next morning. They had an advertisement for Demandy's Donuts. They made fun. I forget what the slogan was on it. Somebody can go look if they want on Instagram.
Well, those two were showing a lot of ass in their outfits too. If you saw their outfits, it showed almost their whole. It was almost like an assless chaps type of thing. But
and apparently Carmella had a mishap, which
I missed that. I missed
that.
So and someone else said they put a black bar over it or something.
And then who else? Dana Brooke apparently had a slip up. Like everybody.
Dana and Mandy are the ones
in that match.
They had very, very little clothing, which I get it. Sex sells, and they got great bodies, so why not show them off?
And it's WrestleMania.
And it is WrestleMania, so we get to a lot of people that have those special attires for WrestleMania, which we'll get to their fight on night 2. But the winner of this match, we can definitely prelude to it. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. I didn't see much in there. I mean, I don't expect everyone to have this big, glamorous, big time outfit, but you do normally wear something special. But Nia and Shayna just basically look like they put on eye makeup, and that was their whole WrestleMania thing. I didn't get it. And Shayna doesn't need anything.
That's true.
But
Shayna would just look weird if she had something.
Yeah, but the girls, they did a great job in their tag team turmoil matchup.
So, but give me a little tidbit. I need to know since. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. We'll leave it at that. I'll get back to that. Go ahead.
So yeah, the winners of the tag team turmoil were the ones on our NXT review that I said if you're going to match them up, you're going to match them up with Nia and Shayna. Natalya and Tamina, size-wise, strength-wise, would be a WrestleMania-type matchup.
And the most believable out of all of them that could get the win.
Yeah, and when they came in later, I started to think more and more that they're going to win it. Now, granted, my opinion, once again, SmackDown Tag Champ should have been in this spot. This Tag Team Turmoil should have been on SmackDown.
I agree with that.
Because all those the people in the championship that,
Oh, speaking of SmackDown, quickly, the Battle Royal, Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Anticlimactic. They shouldn't even have had. They should have had that on Mania too.
Right. I think they did it just to go through the motions of saying they kept their tradition, which is sad.
I get it.
It's sad. And then I did pick Jey Uso to win. The only reason I said that, the only reason I felt that was because they want to give him a little pat on the back for being,
they call him he's main event
being Roman Reigns bitch, basically.
I think here's another thing that would make the Andre Battle Royal a little more, because yes, you do get the trophy, get your name on it, but why not tap in like a Intercontinental title shot or a U.S. title shot?
Exactly.
Give it a little more worth, because it was like, okay, main event Uso is going to get his name on the trophy. He might bring it to Raw or something and hit somebody with it, or who knows, but. I mean, it doesn't really do much more than, hey, you won a Battle Royal.
The only thing that was really cool was the very end of it when it was all over, when Jey Uso was there and the big dog came out to steal his thunder and lightning and steal the spotlight. I love that setup.
What?
It basically put Jey Uso back in his spot. Like, oh, look at me, I'm real high. And then comes the big cousin saying, no, get out of my way. You're down here. But I love that. That was a little seed planted.
It was very good. Foreshadowing for the Mania main event, definitely as well. But I think with Roman Reigns too, they built him up as such a volatile character that but because of what he's done in the past too, I didn't know if Reigns was going to come down and attack Jey Uso or beat him down again in the tough love thing. So you're always worried about Roman Reigns. Is he going to go after somebody? So he's that vicious right now. So I had no problem with him coming down after that to add a little more and to hype up Mania a little more, which that's what SmackDown and the whole week was about.
One big commercial.
Yep. And I get it.
Yeah. So do I. We pretty much predicted it before it happened. We're like, it's
a lot of video packages during Mania, which is is normal for WWE, but I mean, and I mentioned this the other night, and I'm not ashamed to admit I'm becoming a bigger and bigger AEW mark. And if you watch AEW Dark or you watch Dark Elevation, which is on tonight, tonight, are we getting raided here by Mike? Old Crony Garage in the building. Welcome everybody.
Hey,
Anybody
guys.
coming over from WTF Mike, hit that thumbs up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I lost my train of thought. What was I saying there?
I lost mine now. Two old guys should not be doing this.
Someone in the chat, Mark Caliber can remind me what
Mark
I was
Caliber,
saying.
what were we talking about?
I had a point. I did have a point. But you know how I am with when people come in the chat, I want to recognize them. That to me, that's a huge part of these YouTube shows.
Sure.
Old Crony lost his train of thought too. Take credit for it.
See,
that's all right.
you understand. He gets it.
But that's a huge. Oh, I'm a big AEW mark.
AEW
Yeah.
mark. There you go.
If you watch later on tonight, they now have a Monday show, and it is AEW Dark Evolution, where they kind of showcase the new faces, as I like to say, the younger guys. Sometimes they're going against veterans. Sometimes it's newbie versus newbie. But Paul White, the Big Show, is the commentator, the color commentator, and he is gold. He was very monotone the first night, but he is arguably, in my opinion, he's one of the best announcers on TV right now in wrestling.
Speaking of announcers, after WrestleMania, Tom Phillips is going more into a managerial role, and then he's thrown in 205 Live now commentating, which is like, that's a bad thing, because how much longer is 205 going to be alive?
Yeah, who knows? But again, what my point was, when you watch AEW Dark Elevation, and even Dynamite on Wednesdays, they don't piss around. The matches, boom, here comes our first competitor. As soon as the show starts, sometimes it's a hard start too. Right away, you got a match. No promos, no big introduction. No, here's what happened. No, previously on Leaning Towards Death Wrestling, like I like to do. And I get why they do that. It's all production. But a lot of us want, hey, oh shit, a match right off the bat. Yeah, let's get to the fighting. And you get a lot of fluff in WWE, but they're the big wig. They're the multi-billionaire people. Then they do it. They've done it for a long time. And there's a
you can look at it this way:
they
can afford to fluff, right?
And there's a recipe if you. And someone made a point last night too. If you're someone watching WrestleMania on a replay, and you can say, "Oh, this is what led to this match," so they will give you background on a feud or a storyline in the promo. So like, okay, say you've never watched WWE and you tune in, and all of a sudden the Fiend and Orton are fighting. You're like, what's this all about? You don't have to say that, because the video package before explains it all. Drum Monkey in the building. Yes, I mean, I get the video promos and everything, but sometimes there's a lot.
I miss the old school. I wish AEW would do this, and WWE. If you do TV production, I miss the old school vignettes. I really do. They're really cheesy, really funny, sometimes witty, sometimes scary. Like Waylon Mercy, when I was a kid, we remember Waylon Mercy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he used to do scary stalker vignettes. Like
WA Power had a bunch of those good, corny wrestling school commercials and stuff like that.
Like, at a park, looking over, staring at a family from afar, like really creepy shit. Like I wish they still had those old school vignettes. How do you feel there's a place for that kind of thing?
Art, more kind of a lost art into some sorts. I'm excited about getting to the next match because it was one of my favorites in night one.
New Day Champs versus AJ Styles versus Omos.
No,
tag team match.
I thought Cesaro
Raw Tag Team Championship. Go ahead.
I thought Cesaro and Seth was on next. No.
Oh, I jumped ahead. You're right. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. My bad. Go ahead.
Cesaro had a nice WrestleMania outfit. He was dressed a little differently. He had a matching gear there going. Nice entrance, which that's one thing. If you get at Mania, and I will applaud them for doing a pretty damn good job of the spectacle. The entrances were great. The pyro was awesome. Cesaro and Seth had a great entrance as well. A new theme song, kind of. They're always twisting it around, but he. This is two great workers, in my opinion, and they put on a great match. One of my favorites of night one.
And a lot of them picked this to be the match of the night for obvious reasons, because they're talent.
And to see Cesaro swing Seth around, he did 22 times on one of the previous shows, but he got 23. at this
Before the
match.
match, they played it many times. I think it's SmackDown, or I don't know where the hell they played it all over TV before. But how did you like the political satire ad that Seth Rollins did with the whole disclaimer at the end, basically saying Seth Rollins had nothing to do with this?
Yeah, I did kind of like that. That was kind of like almost like a vignette, like we're talking about, something a little special, something different, and I think they should run with it. I also like
Maddie laughed so hard when she saw the end of it. Seth Rollins had nothing to do. Like, she lost it.
the gaudy suits that Seth has been wearing on
The
Raw
drip.
and stuff too. Yeah, his fire suit was just that, fire. And I dig that. It's something. The only thing I didn't like is that night that Corey Graves also had a suit like that on too, and it was like it looked like some people forgot that was a costume night or something. But yeah, I like Seth Rollins' his suit gear. It was a great match. It was definitely two great workers really going at it, and hopefully he gets the push he deserves now that he win, and that's the man, Cesaro.
Yeah, it was as soon as I seen the curb stomp coming up, I was like, please do something pop up. Please do something pop up. Just like in that one match with Seth and who was it originally? That WrestleMania. Oh, RKO'd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, when he went for the curb stomp and he pushed him up, and then
Cesaro nailed an uppercut, right?
Cesaro do that with the European uppercut?
Yeah. It was good. It was a good counter. We saw a couple of those really cool counters, and they did a good job of trying to get some of those spots that you haven't seen in Mania.
And I believe I got almost every match wrong in my predictions for night one. For night one, I think I got them all wrong. Night two, I was shining.
But I definitely, I mean, and there's a match in night two, the same thing, that I think two really good workers put on a great match that we'll get to. But Cesaro and Seth did a hell of a job. It doesn't hurt Seth at all to lose to Cesaro, but it definitely helped Cesaro to get that win, and hopefully some kind of title run.
That was a huge feel-good moment, like you said, as long as they take advantage of that and keep the ball rolling for Cesaro. Will they? Stay tuned. Okay, up next now, finally, the New Day, Champs versus AJ Styles and Omos in a tag team match for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship. And it was, I liked at the beginning because Big E came out and introduced his boys, because we never see them all together anymore.
That was really cool. Very, very cool. That was a good moment. It was a good way to bring them out. I loved seeing Big E come out and say his big saying and bring out his boys and dance around a little bit. I like that a lot.
Same here. That was really cool. So what are your and Omos is, if anybody doesn't know, 7'3", over 400 pounds. He's being built as.
D-Train's bringing the New Day sucks chance back. Another episode of, I think, some over characterisms. Kofi is a top-rated talent, one of the best out there, and I know these two are always over the top, the comedic end as well. But I like to see the more serious Kofi sometimes as well. You just don't get that much anymore. But they were having a blast. They brought the energy to the match, and I made no bones about this in our review the other day that I do not think any tag team, no matter what the storyline is or what the history is, that have never fought as a tag team should get a world title shot.
Yeah, it totally puts those belts at a lower level for sure. Like it takes away everything before that. I agree.
I mean, I said it when I tweeted this out. AJ Styles, he's a legend. Omos is a monster, and they're both great with each other. But and this is what I said, and I understand saving it for Mania so you get here, but I don't think it would have hurt this match at all if Omos would have destroyed the New Day last week, setting this up. He's like, wow, this guy's destroying. They're going to easily win, and then make it look a little more. But I mean, they saved it for this. I understand why. So he basically just showed his strength. I mean, for them to throw kicks at him and stuff, and hardly anything happens, that's a giant. That's a monster. So they definitely sold Omos as a monster. AJ was great, like saying, "Get him now, Omos! Get him now! Put it away."
And then that spot when AJ went on his shoulders and jumped off Omos's shoulders, and then there was another spot, like you said, springboards himself to jump on the giant's shoulders, and then what else was there? And then the big finish,
directed by AJ once again, 1 foot. He says 1 foot. So almost just put his 1 foot on his chest and got the 3 count, which it's a monstrous
how
thing.
about his? How did you like Omos's finisher? It was almost like a gallows pole, almost.
Everything he does is devastating, which I like. Now you're not going to see the Samoa Joe big guy jumping off the top rope or doing any weird. It's going to be more like an Andre the Giant type thing, just where it's going to be, just straight out power and dominance with almost. And I think that's how they should sell him. It's about time he got in the ring. I mean, I just wanted him to get in the ring for a lot. There was another guy who finally got in the ring. We'll get to on night 2.
Jump says that was Kali's finisher. Oh, I did not know that.
But I wouldn't put it against like how AJ is kind of telling almost what to do right now down the line, almost turning on him for doing it too much maybe or something. Not as their champs, they get a nice little title run, but down the line somewhere, I would love to see AJ versus almost the big, David versus Goliath type of thing, even though he's a lot more powerful than a David, but size wise, it would look pretty wild. Seeing some pictures in the back of MVP, there was a picture of Bobby Lashley and Omos was next to him, made Bobby Lashley look like a baby.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
We'll get to that, Leedy. That's night 2, but good to see you, my friend Leedy.
Hey, Leedy, how you doing? Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But yeah, the foot on the chest, 1, 2, 3. AJ and Omos have the tag team championships, and I'm hooked. I want to see what they do with them next, who they're going to throw at them next. I'm an old school.
Like you said, the only thing is the too early shouldn't have been them, right?
I mean, they've done a lot of the can they coexist thing with people that were fighting each other, but at the same time, it's like, let's throw this tag team together. But I mean, if you're going to put Omos with somebody, AJ is very well to help sell him too.
Speaking of selling it, thank you, Old Crony's Garage. He's selling it.
Yeah, we welcome any and everyone. You don't have to be a wrestling fan. We're here to kind of explain it, give our spin on it. Have a good time. Hopefully make either, like I like to say on my channel, you either laugh at me or laugh with me. Either way, you're smiling. And that's
exactly. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. I was kind of surprised they went with a steel cage match. You would think Hell in the Cell, but I don't know.
Cringeomania returns.
Yeah.
And number one, they put the cage up. I
don't have much to even add to this. So
they put the cage up, and it takes away the fact that I kind of thought Shane was going to jump off that boat or do something big spot. So they're in a cage, so they're either going to go out of the cage and do that, or what's going to happen.
Bill.
At the same time, they had those little buckets at the top of every corner of the cage, which, what was it? Those little bags or whatever. And I was afraid it was going to be green goo again or something stupid.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But I mean, he had a toolbox he pulled out of there and he literally lambasted Braun with a full toolbox, right in his head, which is pretty cool. Best spot of the match, definitely Braun ripping the cage when AJ's on the other side, ready to climb down. It seemed a little bit, suspending your disbelief because all AJ had to do was let go and fall to the ground to win as soon as Braun was coming over there to stop him. But he grabbed his arm, and I'm thinking, how's he going to get him back over if he just got his arm through the cage? Mm-hmm. And I thought, it's going to look ridiculous, him actually climbing up and pulling AJ over. But no, he ripped the damn cage apart.
Which was cool.
To pull him through. Great spot. Great spot. And then the finish, it wasn't really a choke slam off the top. Because Shane, I keep saying AJ. Shane did the old flop over in wrestling fall, so it didn't really look like a huge spot from up top. He kind of braced for it, knew it was coming. So I get it. I was on a live stream with the watch along, and I put Shane jumps off of blank. Wrong answers only. So we got some funny answers like he jumps off of the toolbox, or he jumps off the bottom rope, silly ones, or he jumps off of Braun's hands because he got his hands or something like that. Why does a pair of sunglasses cost more than a color television set?
Oh.
I don't know.
Do tell.
He's watching this from sunglasses. I don't know. I never was one to buy cheap, expensive watches or expensive sunglasses because I break them.
Yeah, sunglasses don't last long.
But Braun gets the win with the supposed choke slam off the top of the cage, which to me, it's kind of underwhelming. This is the problem with when you set that bar so high. Shane has jumped off of stuff into the tables. He's jumped
Everybody's
off of
expecting the ship, right?
expecting something bigger. And when you get that, it's like, oh, okay. I was also thinking maybe someone from Raw Underground, which Shane used to run, would come out and help him to even the score size-wise or something, but we will see. A little foreshadowing for night 2. Let's leave it at that. Braun gets the win in the cage. No surprise there. Here, the weirdest thing, too, afterwards, he kind of says, before he pins, this is for all you people out there who have been called stupid, or all the times I've been called stupid. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Shane's the only one that's ever called him stupid.
Yeah, I don't think there's a list. There's not a list.
I think it was a morality thing. It was like, I was like, wow, that's really bully-ish for Shane to be making fun of a stutter and calling him stupid. And he did it for a couple of weeks. And it was all leading up to Braun, fighting the good fight for all the people that ever got picked on, and stuff. So it had a message. I think it was a little bit foggy message in the end because we're waiting for big spots and blood and guts and all that stuff. But Braun defeats Shane.
Mark, we're old.
I know I kept saying AJ, Mark, you're late.
We're old.
I had AJ on my mind from the match before. So, yeah, moving on to even more ridiculousness.
Yeah, here we go. Miz and John Morrison versus Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. A bunch of bunnies came out at the beginning with
that is the
Miz
cringiest cringe. Miz was just a world champion not too long ago.
The whole transport truck thing reminded me of Macho Man in that Nitro game on N64. Remember when Macho Man would come up and he'd come out and go, "What?" when he saw Sting?
I have nothing against comedy gimmicks. I really don't. I love people laughing and funny stuff. But Miz was just a world champion a couple of weeks ago. Morrison, if you ever watch Lucha Underground or Impact, was championship material all the time. He was an amazing stunt. I think they're robbing themselves of both of those characters, having them dance.
I watch Morrison in Lucha all the time.
Yeah, they're dancing around here in Canada. Dancing around like your drunken uncle with the worst rap songs ever, just to make fun of Bad Bunny. And don't get me wrong, I get the Bad Bunny thing, I get the popularity, I get the promotion for his album and all that. And I'd really like to hear the real crowd whenever Bad Bunny come out. I know we're getting piped in cheers. I want to know if there was more boos, which we'll talk about a little bit of that on night 2 also. But I got to do credit where credit's due, because a lot of people are also saying Bad Bunny did do a good job in the ring, and he did. But you have to right now. You've built him up. You brought him in. You sold him as a big time ticket here. If he came in and didn't look good, it would be super, super bad. So I think they already knew he had some skills. They honed it a little more. He's training with tons of wrestlers around him. So to see him do some of those spots, some of them were kind of cringy, but yeah, he was impressive as far as bringing a celebrity in. Yeah,
I was impressed for, like you said, for what he was, right?
Now, when he came down to the ring, I joked that he looked like Missy Elliott from 2000 with the garbage bag outfit on. Our friend Tony Lee Williams had a great thing. He said he looked like the Puerto Rican version of Blade.
Also not wrong.
So, I mean, for someone that's all about gear and stuff like that, for him, it was kind of underwhelming, his outfit. But it's Bad Bunny. He does what he wants, and millions of people love it. He's a top-selling Spotify and artist and all that for a reason. So I get the idea behind it. I think Damian Priest did a hell of a job. I think I wanted more.
Yeah, Damian Priest was definitely the man in that match. I don't know, my opinion.
I wanted more Damian Priest.
Yeah.
But
imagine being Damian Priest, being put in that situation, knowing you have to make that guy look good.
I think Damian Priest's Puerto Rican too, so I think they have like a bond.
Oh, okay.
They have a background together and a commonality. So Priest, and if you're Damian Priest and they say, "Hey, you're either fighting with Bad Bunny or you're not fighting on Mania," it's like, okay, I'm a Bunny man, I guess.
What do you think at the end? The crossbody pins Miz. What do you think about Bad Bunny getting the pin?
It's his Mania moment. Let's hope it was the last. That was his moment. That was his thing.
Yeah. I can.
You gotta sell. You got to sell him as now. If they bring him back and try to sell him as a legitimate wrestler for a while, we'll see. I mean, put him on 205 Live or something because he's smaller, but he's too big of a name in the whole industry.
Yeah,
I'm a realist. I don't like him. I think his music's trash. I think he's garbage as far as a musician. I can't understand what he's saying because it's a foreign language, so I'm not being biased. That's just my opinion. But there are millions, literally millions and millions and millions of people that love him. So I get the whole money thing behind it.
Same.
But Miz and Morrison, I mean, granted, they've done the comedy gimmick in the past. I hope they get rid of it soon and let them fight because they're great workers.
They are.
I think Morrison is trapped. He's in a WWE trap. He's never going to get any higher than what he is now, or
He's
Intercontinental or
definitely there for the
US
money,
champ or something.
right?
Yeah.
He's there for the money.
And Taya Valkyrie, which is now in the system as well.
But when you're at the end of your career like that, when you want to be at as long as you could in the WWE and grab that cash while you can, the big cash.
So I'll play devil's advocate. If you throw him in AEW, I think he gets TNT title shots and maybe even a world title run, or not
World
a win,
title,
but maybe
really?
not a run, not as champion, but shots at the world title too as well,
Shots.
just because to bring him over. He's been a world champion in Impact and Lucha. He's been the top man.
Yeah, I could see that.
So I could see more on a different show than here. And I don't think they're ever going. I hope they're wrong.
I hope
I'm wrong, but I
don't
doubt
think they're
they'll ever
going
do
to.
it. And it's kind of, if we go back to the Jericho thing, he talked about on the Broken Skull sessions that why he left. And I'm surprised they let him talk about AEW, and he did a lot, which I was very happy about because it's a huge part of what he's doing now. That he left WCW because there was no more for him there. He wanted to sell to Goldberg in a pay-per-view, and they wouldn't let him. They wanted him to sell, and he wanted to beat the hell out of me, but do it on a pay-per-view, make people pay for it. So Jericho was like, I'm never going to get any more than that cruiserweight division and stuff there. So he went to WWE to get the money to do what he always wanted to do. He had a great point. He said, I'm Canadian. When I always wanted to be, I always watched WWE. We didn't get NWA. We didn't get WCW up there. So I wanted to be in WWE. I wanted to work for Vince. So that's why he left.
Makes total sense. All the Canadian boys, that's what they want, right?
And now match of the night one, in my opinion, the main event.
Yeah, Bianca, I agree with Cesaro and
Seth, definitely one of the best of night one. Yep.
Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. So
two of my favorites. I mean, they made it a point to mention the first ever main event with two African American women, which was awesome. And they are, I don't even see it that way. I just see them as, I don't even see it that way at all. I see it as two of the best.
I didn't see it that way till they pointed it out.
Yeah, Sasha has been on the top.
Said it.
And despite her size, she can fight just about anyone. And Sasha took the bullet tonight. She took the bullet literally with that hair.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the match.
The big one.
At first. Now, Bianca, when she was in NXT, she would use her hair whip a lot more. So, and they did, and I was wondering why they didn't let her do it as much on regular TV. So they were saving it for Mania. They saved it for towards the end of the match. It wasn't the defining moment of why she won, but when she hit her with her hair, the noise was so loud that I thought it was a sound effect, but I thought there's no way they put it right on at the right time. So it was legitimately. Then you saw her belly, and it was probably a foot long mark that started to bleed even before she got out of the ring.
That's crazy.
And anybody who thinks, yes, this is scripted, but do you think it's fake? Go ask Sasha if it's fake across her belly.
Go ask Natalia's mouth.
Yeah, and Riddle's mouth.
Oh yeah, that him too. Yeah.
So and there was a video that I saw on social media when Sasha rolled out of the ring. She was at ringside up against the ring, laughing and smiling. She was so happy for Bianca. And in the beginning of the match, I mean, we have to bring this up too. They almost both started breaking down because it was such an emotional moment. I mean, Bianca, I love Bianca because she's not afraid to show that emotion too. As big and strong as she are, and there was comparisons to Jade Cargill. If you don't know who Jade Cargill is, go watch AEW. She is a beast, and she's a big time.
I got her on Instagram. She's a beast.
And Bianca, winning the championship, it was her moment. Plus, at the same time, I knew Sasha was going back to The Mandalorian. She's going back to the Star Wars series and other movie and TV projects. So she'll be taking a break. But as one of the four horsewomen, Sasha's always been great. And
I think Sasha was great and Bianca were beyond great. That's definitely going to be a classic forever, that match.
Well, like I said at the beginning, now we know why Lashley and Drew could start the show and get everyone fired up, and why Bianca and Sasha was the main event. It was guaranteed to by far the best match of the night, in my opinion.
Best match. No, like close second, but
and I'd say Bianca Sasha was the best. Cesaro Seth second, and Lashley and Drew was great. It was a good fight. I'm not going to put anything against that. I hope
they eventually show us backstage. Sometimes they show us backstage stuff, sometimes they don't. I would love to see the moment when they finally got to go backstage and Sasha and Bianca got together to like thank each other. We'll probably never see it.
Peacock did have a post show each night, and they did get to live interview Bianca.
Wow.
And it was very good. You know, she was still real sweaty and still out of breath and stuff, and just so emotional. But Bianca earned it. It's her time. She's the EST. She really is in the
Isn't
women's
her
division right now.
boyfriend or husband part of Street Profits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's how she came in. She came in as it was weird. I sent you that picture with the 3 people that were in NXT that are now all champions.
That's crazy.
Raquel Gonzalez and Bianca, and we'll talk about the other one here soon.
They have to like breathe life back into the women's division because it was slowly drying up like a grape to a raisin. It was a slow pace from where they were 2 years ago. Like now,
I was happy to see them inject some freshness. I mean, let's look at night one.
Next generation, like who's gonna lead their company? Those women.
Look at night one. You have Omos, who's pretty much of a new face, first time he fought. Damian Priest getting his WrestleMania moment and some shine, and Bianca. So there's 3 names right there that aren't on the top of the echelon here in WWE, but they got big time pushes that first night.
They're now instant superstars.
Yep. Let's just see what they do with them next.
Oh yeah.
Don't give them the John Morrison.
I just thought of night 2 of another surprise person that showed up. We'll get to it.
Yep.
Night 2. Here we go. Break it down. The Fiend with Alexa. Wasn't it weird for you that they started with this?
Oh, let's start with how they started. First of all, no rain delay, and then we got Pirate Titus and Pirate Hogan coming out.
Oh yeah.
Now the Hogan pirate gear looked really cool. Both of them look very cool in the pirate gear. I liked it.
That's
true. And it made it a little more, comical. They come out, they shot the shit back and forth a little bit. I was wondering why Hogan was saying ho 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 instead of yo ho ho like a pirate does. Yo ho ho, a pirate's life for me. He kept saying ho 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 like he was Santa Claus or something. So I don't know if that was a botch or just Hogan being Hogan, trolling the people. But
God knows.
Hey, like I said, if they bring back heel Hogan for whatever type of TV time or manager or anything, I'd be down for it. Heel Hogan. Have we seen heel Hogan in WWE?
Against The Rock.
Oh yeah, and when they first bought out WCW and brought him over, yes, that's right. But I mean, well, they'll never let him be full blown heel Hogan, but that was it was a good way, fun way to get us started. No rain delay, and we got Hulk Titus, Pirate Titus, and Pirate Hogan getting us going.
See, I totally blanked that part out of my brain.
Now, the first match, once again, they're starting off with a big time match. To get you going, so I do get it. I think that Orton looked great. Orton had the nice white gear, so it's kind of maybe leading people to believe he was the face of the match in a way. Good guys wear white and all that. That's how I took it.
True.
So, Alexa coming out. I'm really.
Your comments are blocked, man.
Yeah, they probably are if you're cussing, because YouTube doesn't let you cuss.
If you're swearing, that's YouTube. That's YouTube.
YouTube can't say moron, stuff like that. And we don't have any mods or anything watching that stuff right now. So just keep it clean in the chat and it'll show it or camouflage your bad words better. It'll
be YouTube.
So to me, and I've made it pretty known on social media and everywhere else, Alexa Bliss ruins the Fiend for me. I get it why. I get the Sister Abigail and all the little connections, but too much of her being evil, cutesy, and whatsoever. I've never thought of her. I mean, unpopular opinion. Once again, I'm not an Alexa Bliss fan. I don't think she's
I was almost hoping in a weird, sick way when they played the Funhouse theme part that Pee Wee Herman would come out.
I mean, I'm still waiting for someone to come and beat the hell out of Alexa. Like when Orton fought Alexa in a match, you're thinking, well, they're not going to let Orton beat up a woman. Alexa is so small. But if someone else came out for Orton and beat her up, it would make sense. Not to say that's not going to happen, but now that the mysticalness, the intrigue behind Alexa is even more now because, okay, she opens the big box and Fiend pops out. Number one, you just robbed all the fans of the first ever Fiend entrance. Fiend didn't get to walk down, no lantern. Now they did.
But before he even came out, what did you think of the video clip of him going through this like cage fire hell tunnel and he regenerates?
Remember the weekend when the weekend
and do the like normal one?
Remember The Weeknd, the singer The Weeknd? I don't know if you saw it when he was on, was it the Grammys or whatever, and he did his whole spiel in the back with all the lights in it. He looked just like The Weeknd. He was in the same tunnel with lights. But yeah, you get the burnt fiend coming out first, and he turns back. So you get the supernaturalness. Now, there's a lot of theories out there that this is not the real fiend.
I agree with that.
A fake fiend or something. It could be Bo Dallas, his brother, which I would love that angle if it is. And the real fiend comes back, or regular Bray comes out while the fiend's out. But I mean, I don't see anything wrong with letting the burnt fiend fight here in Mania. I don't know why.
Paid a lot, by the way. A lot.
So they turn the fiend back into the original fiend, basically, with a little bit of changes. And I mean, this match was to make you continue watching the Fiend's story, basically, in my opinion. It's leaving a lot.
There's RKO's blocks, a couple mandible claws in there, like a big couple high spots.
They did fight a lot, which, a lot of people were saying Fiend's going to come out and just destroy Orton like the Fiend would, like a Goldberg type style, just come out, squash Orton. But they did really go back and forth very well for a while in this fight.
So what do you think? Have you heard of that theory out there that Bray Wyatt, the wrestler, went on Twitter after and put up a picture of Samson and Delilah? Delilah, is that it?
Mm-hmm,
the Bible story of about he how does the Bible story go? Samson she cut his hair, she betrayed him, so he lost all of his strength.
So is
that where they're headed? The whole Samson and Delilah
possibly.
thing?
There's a lot of teases. Is she Sister Abigail? Does she have control over the Fiend now?
Right. When she had that headband on and all the black.
So let me go back to night one real quick. Night one.
Turning into Sister Abigail?
Night one. We didn't talk about this. I forgot to talk about it. Night one. Drew was about to hit Lashley with a Claymore, but out of nowhere, MVP's like, "Hey, Drew," and he stops. Now, why on your WrestleMania moment, you're about to defeat the champion? Why would I know it's part of the story, but why would you stop? Because the guy at ringside said something. The guy at ringside's there the whole time. He's going to be there. So the distraction caused Drew to title. Same thing happened here. If you're Orton and you're getting ready to put out the Fiend, she's there. She already came out with, she tried to change the ink in the copier and it exploded on her or whatever. She was biting on the end of the pen and it blew up on her, whatever you want to call it. But it was, once again, Orton's ready to win. Orton's ready to take over and win. But the distraction makes him change his mind, and then the next thing you know, Sister Abigail and Fiend win. So I don't. They could have sold that a little better, in my opinion. The big, huge Jack in the Box is sitting there with her there, just because she. I don't know. It's the supernatural aspect that it's kind of tough for me, even though the whole wrestling thing, you got to suspend your disbelief a little bit. A lot of people love the supernatural aspect of Alexa.
Why would Alexa betray him like that to distract the Fiend?
I don't know. That's the hook to keep you going. Like Orton gets one over and he's out of there. I thought maybe he's going to join her or something. It's the one thing, I guess. Like I always say, there should be a happening. There should be something that on Monday you're like, where are they going with this? And this is it to me. It's like, what is she? Is she's in control of the Fiend? Why is she mad at the Fiend? Is it a Samson and Delilah type thing? Is she Sister Abigail? Does she have full control over the Fiend now? Does she direct the Fiend? I don't know. I mean, tune in tonight on Raw to find out.
Is the Fiend going to turn on her? Because
is it the real Fiend? Once again, we just talked about 10 different questions, and if in storylines, if you leave with a bunch of questions, that's a good thing, because it's come watch us tonight on Raw.
But the crowd was not happy with that ending. The crowd booed so loudly.
No, well, that's another thing. Like I said, I mean, you can bring Orton out as the White Knight all you want. People love the Fiend. They want to see the Fiend. I wanted to see all the light. Well, the lights went out thing, but I wanted to see all the lights go out. Smoke coming out, and here comes the Fiend walking down the ring. He hasn't yet to have a WrestleMania entrance.
I agree.
And this would have been the first time. So we got to wait till next year, which is now not in Hollywood. It's in Dallas, Texas. They announced that as well. And the Hollywood thing was all, I thought that's when The Rock's coming back. If they're going to do it in Hollywood, He's the superstar. He's the movie guy. So if they're going to bring him back, it would have been then. But now it's in Dallas, so who knows if we're going to get that or not. So we'll talk about that too. But yeah, Orton Fiend. I think that the Alexa thing is a little too much for me. But that's my personal opinion.
One little side note I had: this is one of those matches that I wish was about 10 minutes longer.
Yeah, well, at the same time, like I said, it could have been a squash right away too. But Blake Lewis, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? Welcome.
It could have been a squash, less than a minute match. So they did fight for a while. But yeah, it could have with the two. If you think about Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, those two could work a 20-minute, 25-minute match and sell it good the whole way through.
And then after that, we got the Karen's back. Karen Bailey's back with Hulk, Titus, and Eric Bischoff trying to get on Eric Bischoff's show.
Cringemania returns.
Yeah. Laid it on thick once again.
Yeah.
There's not much more to add to that.
Moving right along.
Women's tag team match. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler with the winners from the night before, Natalya and Tamina. The tag team that should have been there that could sell the fact that they could possibly win it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
As much as I'd love to see the Riot Squad, the matchup.
Right.
If you go tail of the tapes wise, Natalya and Tamina really match up well with
most
Shayna
believable, right?
Yeah.
Most believable.
And Natalya's a legend. She's been around forever. Tamina finally coming back and getting some shine. Great team together.
Tamina looked amazing. Like
the only problem I have with
Tamina, she's old, She's like 40.
Yeah. The only thing I love the fact she brings back the Superfly jump. I love the fact that they're not afraid to call it the Superfly jump.
Yeah, thank God.
They did stop for a while.
Legal reasons.
With all kinds of reasons. However, it's not a Superfly splash. Her legs, it's 45 degree. If you go watch an old Superfly Jimmy Snuka, his legs fly up, his hands are way out with the signs. So she does the arm thing, but when she jumps, it's more like she's falling. It's really not like a Superfly splash. And maybe she just can't do it as well, but, then don't let her do it.
How old is she? Like 43? Is Tamina not like 43?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I think she's like 43. I could be wrong. But
now my question was, and we called it, I stole this from another streamer, Simpinold or Reginald. The simp of Nia was nowhere to be found. Where was he?
It's kind of intriguing. It's kind of cool.
Because I was, if they're going to lose the championship, that's how they were going to lose it. Reginald would come out and side with Nia or try to help. Shayna hates, Reginald being involved, and it could cost them the titles. So without him there, I was like, I think they're going to win. So they did. They defended the titles, Nia and Shayna, getting the victory. And I said that they could have wore something more menacing, but maybe not too much because Shayna doesn't need anything big. All he had was kind of like eye makeup and irregular gear.
I really like the ending when Natalya went for the sharpshooter. Baszler tags herself in without Natalya realizing it at first. Baszler comes in behind, hooks in the Karafuda. She taps. Done.
But no Simpinold at all.
Which is kind of intriguing because now we're asking that question. Where is he?
Well, maybe they'll bring him back, or maybe he's gone for good, and maybe he was sick. Who knows? We don't know. One of my favorite matches next.
Sami Zayn,
despite the ringside presence,
with Logan
Hogan Lawal.
Yeah, Logan Lawal versus Kevin Owens. So.
Number one, Logan got his entrance. I want to hear the real crowd reaction because they piped in cheers. Most definitely,
they don't like that guy
because if you watch him come down the ring, you heard a ton of cheers, which I'm sure they piped in because you look at the fans and there was thumbs down. There was people just leaning against the rail, didn't really give a crap. He wasn't getting much of a. There's Joker, good to see you. And there's some stats for us. 43. He must have
I was right.
Thank you, Joker.
I got one right. Don't ever expect it to happen again. That'll never happen again here. I promise.
But if you don't know, El Generico, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen go way back. They're best friends forever. They fought a million times in ROH.
Sami Zayn was Kevin Owens' best man.
Yep. And, I always thought maybe they'd bring El Generico back, which is Sami Zayn's masked character, but you never saw that. But Sami and Kevin Owens, great workers. They did an amazing job in the ring, battling back and forth. I really like
exploder suplexes, blue thunder bombs. We saw it all. A haluva kick. We've seen it all. Everything. The frog splash even was amazing. Kevin Owens does a wicked frog splash for a big man.
And when Kevin Owens gets thrown into the corner and or the surprise Halua kick coming into the corner, getting him really good and stuff, they did a great. They're amazing workers. They're two of the best in my opinion.
They are. They're the
But then
top of the top.
after the match was the best part. I mean, you saw it coming when number one Logan Paul slides into the ring
It holds up Kevin Owens' hand.
Yeah,
and
well,
then
he wanted to shake his hand. It wasn't happening. Kevin Owens was kind of thinking you could hear the fans start to cheer, do it, and stuff like that. And then it kind of a turn on Sammy. You know, you lost and whatever. And Kevin Owens staring at his hand, and you saw it. It was so stone coldish.
Very stone coldish.
And reason was if you didn't hit him with a stunner at this point, you'd be disappointed. So, and here is once again, I gave credit where credit is due with Bad Bunny. The celebrity did a good job. And this is Logan Paul sacrificing himself for the business. He's like, hey, yeah, I'll take a stunner. And Logan and his brother are legit boxers. They have been fighting and they're fighters. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see both of the Paul brothers in WWE. And as much as I can't stand them,
welcome back.
But you never know. But you never know. You never know. He took the stunner like a champ, sold it well. And the crowd got what they wanted, which was Logan Paul getting stunned. And I was
like you said, it makes you question all the fake cheers, right?
Yeah, I marked out for that very much so.
So did I. It was funny. He took one for the team, right? So good on him.
Yep, good for him.
What does he have? 29 million followers on YouTube?
Yeah, tons. He's him and Bad Bunny are two of the biggest celebrities that are out there right now.
So he's slightly behind me for subscribers here on YouTube. Yeah. He's slightly behind me. Maybe he'll catch up someday. Maybe he'll
loved as much as they are hated though too. So it's one of those, you either love them tremendously or you hate them tremendously. Pogan Lol, LOL is his last name to me.
And that's I don't have nothing more to add. Do you?
Nope, not for that one.
Okay, a United States Championship match. Riddle, champion, versus Sheamus.
Pre-match, one of my favorite spots. RVD and Riddle. I made the joke that this was finally a backstage segment that was dope.
I see what you do. I see you.
And I think Peacock's probably not so happy about RVD slanging his rolling papers, his brand of rolling papers.
Yeah, I seen that. I'm like, did he just do
RVD giving him rolling papers and all the drug jokes and weed jokes in the back with those two? I mean,
that can.
I think the Great Khali got high just being next to those two. But that was a cool little backstage segment. And then Riddle, I'm a Riddle fan. I think he's funny. I think he's
entertaining. I'm going to give you that. That's the word for me.
I don't get the birds flying out whenever he kicks his sandals off.
22.9. Sorry.
I don't understand. He kicks his, which is kind of cool. He comes in, he flips into the ring. He rode the scooter all the way down the ramp with big smile on his face.
That's funny.
It was very funny.
As soon as I seen the backstage, I go to Madison. I'm like, do you think? And she's like, yeah, he's going to come out with the scooter.
He's having fun. I mean, that's huge. He's always seemed to be having fun. He got in, he kicks his sandals off, but when that happens, they do the CGI birds. I don't understand the doves flying out. There must be a connection, but I guess it's supposed to make everyone think they're high.
But would you agree there's a thing going around which makes sense? The only reason Riddle got the championship in the first place was because Keith Lee got hurt. And there's nobody else.
Could be part of it. I mean, that happens in all sports, man. The next man up.
Exactly. Opportunities knock.
Next man up. At the same time, was it last week? He was in a backstage segment with Asuka, and he asked Asuka if scooters are big over in Japan. And when he asked that, then he goes, I forgot what I was going to say next. And he just rolls off. So everyone thought, was it the stoner gimmick? Did he really forget his lines? Now, WWE on the social media was quick to cover it up and say, yeah, that was part of that angle, that segment. But was it? Did Riddle lose his title because he forgot his lines? People have lost matches for less.
Way less.
You know how strickler they are about knowing your lines and stuff, but it does match the gimmick perfectly. The stoner gimmick to forget his lines, right? And Asuka sells it perfectly looking around. Her facial expressions are great. I'm a big Asuka fan. But Sheamus and Riddle, they had a good battle. They had a really good fight.
Very hard hitting.
And then him hitting the bro kick as Riddle was coming into the ring. I mean, hit him right in the lip, busted his lip open. It didn't look like it was solid at first. But when you see his mouth bleeding, you know he caught him.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, so his mouth is bleeding from it looked like he almost got it was more of a knee to the chest than anything. But when I saw the replay, seen his boot hit his face. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, he got him.
He got him. And that was probably, knowing them both the way they are, that was probably pre-planned. Like, he probably said, effing nail me.
Yeah.
That's
knows?
the way Riddle is. Riddle would be like, hit me as hard as you can. I don't give a shit.
But
That's why I respect Riddle in that aspect, because he's a fighter, right?
Yeah, I've never been a huge Sheamus fan. When I went to Royal Rumble in Pittsburgh, we jokingly called him Sheamus, and we kept cheering, "Sheamus, you can do it, Sheamus."
Sheamus.
But he looks like a big Bart Simpson to me. Something.
He does look like a cartoon character.
Yeah, he's a great worker. I'm not going to slight him at all.
The
and
first ever
maybe
Irish-born world champion.
And maybe Keith Lee does come back to have a program with Sheamus. I'm up for that.
Never knew that.
Like I said, love them or hate them. Bad Bunny and Logan Paul. That's they're polarizing figures, as people like to say.
They did their job, right?
So the next fight, the Nigerian drum fight, where no drums were used at all.
That was exactly, you pretty much summed my note up in one big.
Well, they tried to sell it. They said,
I got one small. This is my very last note. Let me read it to you.
Good.
Just because you went there.
I'm sorry.
No. It's funny. One small criticism: shouldn't have been called a drum match.
Well, if the pre-match said that it's a Nigerian custom. The Nigerian drum match is a Nigerian custom, and they're selling that gimmick 110%, which it's starting to work. It's growing on me. Apollo Crews brought this in as a tradition, as part of his heritage, a Nigerian drum match where the hits are so loud that it sounds like a drum. So that's how they tried to sell it. Now, I was hoping that they had more drums in the ring, or a huge bass drum or something. Someone gets thrown through it. I was disappointed they took the gong off of the stand and tried to use it. Wally. So they had a gong at ringside. They had a bunch of timbales.
The gong was such a missed opportunity. As soon as I seen it, I'm like, Maddie, someone's going to get hit with that gong and we're going to hear it so loud.
It should have been while it was on the stand. Throw someone's head into it while it was on the stand.
Not even the gong.
But they kicked it. It was a kick instead, So
not even the gong, Blaze.
He'd used the gong.
Kind of.
He took it off the stand and tried to hit him with it, and they got blocked, and you heard it hit the ground as a gong. I say leave it on the stand and have someone throw their head through it while it was on the stand, so you can hear it gong. But they had djembes, which are a bunch of drums around the ring. I'm a drummer. I know about the drums, and I was kind of excited about how they're going to use drums in the match, because drums, if you know, they're made out of wood, metal. They're dangerous objects where you can really, really badly get hurt. They're really going to use like a real drum set or something. They had a table set up with some drums. I don't know. They didn't use any drums at all. They could have just called it an Extreme Rules match.
That's exactly what me and Maddie said at the end. Why didn't they call it like a brawl or anything?
So my favorite part of the match, I teased it on night one when Shane, who was part of Raw Underground, which was a shoot fighting type segment on Raw, which they kind of botched. It could be a great angle in some another little division they could do with people like Shayna and Riddle and those who are MMA backgrounds. But we had a surprise. We had a surprise entrance. And here's the part I don't understand. He was on one of those rumbles as Babatunde, which is what his real name. He fought. He's Polish, believe it or not.
He's a weird looking dude.
He's Polish and Nigerian, which is a very weird mix.
It's a weird, whatever's going on, it just looks awkward.
Here's the word thing.
Awkward.
The guy was in a rumble. The guy was in Raw Underground, and they sold it as, who is this guy? The announcers are going, who is this big guy? I'm like, wait a minute, you didn't watch Raw Underground?
I didn't. I had no clue who he was.
I was hoping he came out. When I saw him, I was like, that's Dabba-Kato. And Dabba-Kato was in Raw Underground destroying people. He fought as Babatunde in a rumble before, so he's been on WWE programming twice. So this is the third time he's been on, and now like I said, he's he's born in Poland and of Nigerian descent as well. So he fits right into Apollo Crews' angle. He helped Apollo Crews win. And now, breaking news, unless you already have this too. His new name is
Yep.
Commander Aziz.
Aziz. Yeah, I got that. Because
Which-
the only reason I found out because WWE did a trademark thing like 4 days ago or something.
Now, there was also rumors they trademarked Commander Aziz, but they also thought of using Commodore Aziz, which both of them are the military names, but Commodore reminds me of the Commodore 64 computer from the 80s.
I almost like Commodore.
Commodore, I'm telling you, would have got made fun of a lot more. So I'm kind of glad
That's
to go
true.
with Command. Now, is Commander Aziz in charge of Apollo, or does Apollo, have him as part of his clique, his crew, but Apollo Crews winning the Intercontinental Championship? I hope a couple things come out of this.
Is this commander character going to be like a rebel kind of character?
I don't know. I mean, they're selling the whole Nigerian character with Apollo. At first, I was like, "Where'd you get an accent out of nowhere?" It was kind of like Kofi Kingston-ish whenever he got rid of his Jamaican accent.
But that's the only thing saving this guy right now.
Yeah, but the angles, like I said, it's growing on me. It's working. It's doing well.
But here's the thing. I'm going to use this analogy because I'm a big Rihanna fan. Rihanna talks like a typical American, but she's from the Caribbean, and there was one award thing she came up. She goes, and she did her whole Caribbean accent. She goes, "This is what I really talk like." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Whoa, what the? Where the hell did that come from?" Like it was her not having to please people anymore. Like it was her being legit. Like what's her real name? Robin. It was her being Robin. Like not a Rihanna character. So I could see that happening with him too. Like you know what I mean? He has to fit in and do the more American thing.
Now, what I hope comes out of this too. So you're taking the Intercontinental Championship off of Big E. Same thing I said to Cesaro, with a win can happen with Big E and a loss. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him in a title picture, in some kind of world championship picture.
I said that to Maddie right away. I'm like, I hope they give him a world title shot at least.
Now, before the fight, which I forgot to talk about, Wale, who is a really good rapper, and I'm a fan of Wale. Yeah, Wale. He came out, not to be confused with Wale. It's Wale. Wale did Big E's theme song, and Wale is a good enough rapper that he could have done it without lip syncing. Because number one, he missed his cue. He was talking and the music started, and then he put the mic up to his mouth. So I knew he was lip syncing. I'm always really watching for that.
And I never noticed.
Yeah, so he was lip syncing, and I was kind of like, why not let him rap? I mean. So that kind of took a little, but it was a good entrance. Big E had a great entrance. I mean, I really enjoyed his entrance. But Apollo Crews, with the help of, call him Baba Tunde, call him Dabba-Kato, now Commander Aziz, he'll be announced of.
Yabba Dabba Doo.
Yeah. Wasn't a bad match, though. I enjoyed that match. Big E and Apollo was a good fight.
It was. I really enjoyed everything about it, and I liked when the candlesticks came out right at the beginning. So they're doing a lightsaber thing right at the beginning. Just beat
they beat the hell out. I mean, with all those drums, and they grabbed the sticks first.
Who was it? One guy totally did Apollo destroy the candlestick on? Yeah, I think Apollo destroyed the candlestick right on Big E. Like he shredded it. There was nothing left.
Even right at the beginning, I mean, they weren't holding back. They were really cracking each other with those things. It was
brutal.
And I know why they use kendo sticks, so they have a little bit of give, but that still hurts. That's going to leave welts. I've seen so many pictures of people with welts from those kendo sticks, and they were brutal with those. It was a brutal fight. It was a very good fight. It's a shame they didn't get to use any actual drums. Like even like Big E going over and playing the drums or something would have been funny.
Something.
He likes to be comedic. He could have went over and played the drums or something, or a spot where they had one of the drum heads kind of slit, where if you put it through someone's head and then hit them with it on their head or something. I don't know.
With a kendo stick then? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, something like that. Yep, that would have been great.
Exactly. I totally agree with that.
But like you're introducing a new champion.
Since it's called a drum match.
Yeah.
And the symbol, somebody should have been hit over the head. I don't give a shit.
Apollo Crews got a big boost. We got to see Dabba-Kato come back. So that was very good with the match. And Big E sold for him.
He did. Good match. Not mad at any of it. Like we said in our review, I don't think any of us were mad who was going to win that one.
Yep. No, yeah, exactly.
Up next, Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka taking on Rhea freaking Ripley. And were you thinking like me? You were hoping for Rhea, but you thought because of the night before of Bianca winning, that they were going to screw over Rhea? I was thinking that. I'm like, oh no.
I'm a huge Asuka mark. I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet, and she has been for a really long time. Even now that they let her speak in her tongues a little more and her little facial expressions and dancing around, easy peasy and all that, it's great. I think she's great. She has great. Her character on spot.
She's great.
Spot on. I love her character. She looked great.
I love everything about her.
Yeah, her attire was great. Her entrance was great. Speaking of entrances, we got another live performance. CFO, the band, did Rhea Ripley's Brutality song, and Ash Costello. Granted, I'm a music guy too, so I was really paying attention. A lot of people thought she wasn't that good. The sound was bad, but Ash Costello got to sing the song. You could tell she legitimately sung that song.
Yeah, she did.
The sound was a little off, so I don't know if the band was recorded. Bands are pretty good at selling, especially guitars that are plugged in can easily be sent to selling. MSW's in the house too. But I thought Rhea's entrance was freaking spectacular. The fireworks, the stomp was on point both times. She did it right with the song. The only thing I don't like about it is the black. I don't like the black lipstick. I like everything about Rhea Ripley. I really do. She's a
I like
beast.
Her hair. I like the whole thing myself.
Yeah, and the fight they put up was great. They put on a great fight. It was top notch. It was definitely worthy as the pre-main event of the final night.
Yeah, I guess the only thing we can ponder is how do you think it's going in the back for people like Rhea and Bianca skipping over everybody and that's been there for years trying to get their shot.
I think it was the right time. I really do. I think that Bianca has proven herself for long enough, and so has Rhea. And we talked about Raquel Gonzalez, Bianca and Rhea Ripley, who kind of came up in NXT together at one point in time. They were all there, and they're all champs now. You know, with Raquel Gonzalez is the NXT champ, Bianca's SmackDown champ, and Rhea's the Raw champ. And I have now the question with this one was, and Becky Lynch teased it on Saturday with a post that she was in Tampa Bay working out, that she was going to show up, and she didn't. So she teased it again on Sunday when she tweeted out something about night 2. And then I think a lot of people are like, you ain't gonna do it. You're trolling us now. And so I was really, and I've seen some other watch-alongs that were saying, I think we're getting Becky tonight. I
would have never said that. That wouldn't come out of my mouth.
I thought maybe Becky or Charlotte or Ronda Rousey. We didn't see any of those three.
Okay, Charlotte and Rousey. I say no to Becky because she's a brand new mom, and she's in that whole brand new baby mom life. I don't think she's rushing back.
Well, the idea, the way I look at it, and I agree in hindsight, you don't want to ruin their moment. Bianca's moment, she won. I mean, even having someone come out to face them off, like I was talking about in our NXT preview of this, like having The Rock or Brock or someone, Charlotte, Rousey come out. Bianca got her spot. She got her moment when she won. Same thing with Rhea. She got the pose with the belt. She got the fireworks. She got the pyro. That's her moment.
True. That's a very good way of looking at it.
Yeah, let's not ruin her moment by bringing someone out.
It didn't need it, right?
No, it didn't. I mean, I think, and it's just my opinion, that we needed more surprises, someone else coming out or something, and we'll get to that in the main event here too.
But I'm glad they didn't do it for those two.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I said in hindsight, I don't disagrey with how they did it because they're two very deserved fighters for what they did.
And it was clean wins.
Yep.
No interference bullshit.
Yep. So how
can you argue? How can you argue? Oh, she won because of so and so.
That's why you did it that way. Bianca is on top right now. So is Rhea. I'm interested on see who they put them in programs with. That's another thing about WrestleMania you normally get, and I think on just about all of these except maybe Orton and Fiend, that they might continue the Fiend angle a lot more, and they left us a lot of questions. But a lot of storylines, angles, feuds ended.
Smash the thumbs up button, anybody who hasn't.
Which that's kind of what Mania used to be. It used to be, hey, the closure of the 3-month programs, the 6-month programs, the feuds that were going on.
Wally thinks this, and that could happen.
Who knows? I mean, I thought another rumor that was out there was that the whole turn on the Hurt Business was just a swerve so they could come back. But they were barred from the ringside. That's one thing we didn't announce. The Lashley Drew match, they were barred from ringside.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so
I forgot about it. What does that tell you? I forgot about it.
The Hurt Business was a great stable. They were building momentum. They were over with the fans, whether they were cheered or booed. They were building the ranks, and then they turned on those two and threw King Corbin in there to fight Bobby, which is kind of strange. And a lot of people
Very strange.
were up in arms on social media about that as well. Now it's main event time.
Yeah, here we go. We can't forget Bailey comes out with her annoying. She got a beat down by the Bellas.
Oh yeah, we can announce that. We could talk about the Hall of Fames. We didn't really talk about that. They brought them out on night 1, the 2020 Hall of Fame. They brought it on night 1, and night 2 they brought out. And Kane got to do his fire gimmick again. RVD did his thumb chant, and the crowd was right on point with it. They were popping for Hogan. And NWO night 1. They popped for Bischoff in night 2, which I really enjoyed. And yeah, like you said, Hogan and Titus come out to announce the main event, and here comes Bailey to interrupt them. Now that's where I thought maybe Becky could come out just to face off with Bailey to shut her up, because they have history.
That would have been great.
She could have came out, smacked her, dropped her on her ass.
Just to get the rumors flying.
Yes, someone's got to beat up Bailey.
Becky's coming back, but she doesn't. Right.
And I kept thinking that through night 1 and night 2. Someone's got to beat up Bailey. Someone's got to beat up Bailey.
And I'm glad it was the Bellas.
I didn't know it was gonna. I didn't. I mean, it worked, but a little more anticlimactic than it would have been if it was one of the 4 horsewomen. If it was Charlotte, which Charlotte wouldn't really. I mean, she would get over his face again if she would have done it. Which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, when she left, she was more heelish, I believe. I'm not sure. And she's always back and forth.
Any Flair's better.
She's like heel. She's the new Big Show.
Right.
They're heel one day, they're face the next. And all Charlotte does is cry. Whether she wins or loses a match, she's going to cry.
Pretty much.
So I'm not really a big Charlotte Flair fan, even though I'm a huge Ric Flair fan. So I don't mind when they bring Rick into the fold, because he still got it as far as entertaining.
Yeah, I wasn't mad. Anytime I can see the Bellas, I'm happy. And
I'm a
Bailey got her come up, and so
we talked about this the other night too. I'm big on Brie. The holistic man with Daniel Bryan is not really the plastic.
Are we gonna fight? Are we gonna fight over who gets Brie? Really?
The Kardashian Nikki type? No. I think Daniel Bryan would beat us both in that triple threat.
Nah.
Speaking of triple threats, good segue.
Yeah, here we go. Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns champ, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. Go ahead.
Now, we talked about earlier how
Uso interference at the beginning.
How people were like, meanwhile, yes chance entrance for Bryan. Awesome. Edge's entrance, outstanding. Great attire. I really hope they use that attire for Edge in 2K22. If 2K22, please use that attire. It was awesome. It was white base, long trench, and Edge looked in tip-top shape. He looked phenomenal. Like when I saw him come out, get the reaction, I'm like, man, is Edge going to win this? Like they really had me going towards, is Edge going to win this? I mean, he's had the opportunity. He could just pin Daniel Bryan instead of Roman. But Jey Uso coming out, doing a lot of interfering. I get it, because Roman's heel, and that's what a heel Roman would do. He would have Paul Heyman. He would have Jey Uso try to help him as much as possible. I tweeted about it too, but Paul Heyman's facial expressions throughout this match were gold, like they always are. Hands on his face, hands on his head, hands on his holding his like Home Alone and stuff.
Yeah, he was totally home aloneing it. That's
great. Now I didn't know whenever Reigns or when Edge brought,
especially when somebody got put in a submission, like. The face of Heyman.
Speaking of submissions, and this might have been when he did it the most. Edge brought that chair in, and then it broke, which and I was watching a watch along and said, that's tricked. That's going to use that. They're going to use that.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, I don't know if that, because he did use it. So it's like, it kind of seemed like that if you're, really analyzing it all, that it was supposed to break and he was supposed to use it because he did kind of look at the chairs and make sure he picked certain ones the first time he went over there.
Yeah, looking back,
he was very
did.
selective on which chairs.
And he grabbed 2 chairs at one point and put one down.
2 in the ring, 1 he went to go after Brian with. But
well, that makes more sense now.
When he used that pole to do the crossface, and then Daniel Bryan comes in with a yes lock at the same time, that was awesome. Yeah. That I marked out for that. I'm like, you don't see that all the time. And then they started headbutting each other. Well, it makes sense. Daniel Bryan sees him in a crossface. It's a triple threat. If he taps, it's over. Daniel Bryan loses. He had to do.
What do you think about Uso getting kicked, getting the crap beat out of him? Officials taking him off, and then him coming back.
I honestly, I kind of forgot about him once he was gone. So when he came back this next time, I was a little bit surprised. So I like that. At the same time, I was kind of waiting for the ref to be like, "You're out of here," and throw him out. But once again, triple threat rules are kind of like anything goes, like an extreme rule, so that you're allowed to have someone else help you beat up your opponent. Which, take it for what it is. It was, it wasn't too much where it totally affected the end of the match, though. No. And we got to mention the spear versus spear. They both speared each other at the same time, Roman and Edge, which was pretty
hurt
cool.
Their shoulders. Apparently.
Yeah, that was a very good spot. They sold it well. It didn't look like they tried to avoid it. It looked like they really collided like a train wreck. So I like that a lot.
A lot of people were saying there's going to be a double spear with Daniel Bryan in the middle of it.
Like that would have been good too.
Cut him in half.
And then Edge with the concerto, and I'm thinking about Daniel Bryan's neck, and he lines him up.
I thought that right away too.
Oh my God!
That's why he did it. That's exactly why he did it.
And he hits the concerto on him, and then he goes back and forth, just nailing chair shots. Like the viciousness of the extreme stuff throughout both nights was really spot on. You got the hair from Bianca leaving that huge lash on Sasha, and she's bleeding. You got the kendo stick battle in the drum match. And then the chairs were brutal in this battle. They really were. Even going back to Braun and Shane when he used the damn toolbox on the head of Braun.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal too.
But in the end, to see him get the pin on not one of them, but both of them.
That was perfect. It couldn't have been a better end. If it was going to end that way with Roman as the winner, it couldn't have ended any better way because everybody's like, Brian's there to take the pin. Brian's there to take the pin. Oh, Brian. No. They both got their asses pinned. And nothing could be more exclamation mark, right?
And like I said earlier, they've been selling.
Amazing. And I didn't see that coming. Did you think that was going to happen?
No. I was one of the ones that thought, Daniel Bryan's a patsy. Right. He's the one that's going to. But when he did the yes chants, he had the crowd popping. So I'm like, that's why he's in this. This is the first time they got a crowd, and they jumped right back into the yes chants. And that was, I think, to me, the biggest crowd reaction was when he was doing the yes chants. They were all in there with it.
Even though they thought he was there to take the pin.
Exactly.
They were still behind him cheering for him.
They were doing the yes chants whenever Edge was hitting the chair shots. They were still cheering yes back and forth. He was doing that. Mm-hmm. But it was a good main event. I mean, a lot of people said that it could have went longer with those three, but I thought nonstop action from the beginning. Those three let it all out there. And it was a great fight.
All those chair shots, there was no necessary, and Jey Uso's bullshit. There was no need for it to be longer.
But they've sold Roman for so long as the dominant force, and rightfully so. He's a great character for it. That this makes sense to me how they did it. I mean, I wouldn't. And we mentioned it before on the other show that Edge winning and doing the John Elway and retiring as the champion would have been apropos to me too. I'd have been all for that.
I wouldn't have been mad at that 1 second.
So many people were Edge fans.
Well deserved.
Yeah, definitely. But Roman celebrating in the ring with the title belt and with Uso and Heyman, I was really waiting for. If you smell, I was like, do it. Come on, do it. All you had to do is come out onto the ring.
I would have loved The Rock way more than the Brock. I'm not going to lie.
Well, Brock is more rumored to be fighting Lashley down the road, and Roman and Rock are rumored to be fighting. Now, if those two matches happen or not, who knows? I think they wait so long for those things. Like they're already planning 2023 for that match if it's back in Hollywood, Roman and Rock, because it's in Hollywood. But I'm like, can you really bank on something 2 years in the future? who knows what's going to happen by then? So I would
Would The Rock even want to do it? Hello, he's
while
got
it's
more than enough
fresh,
fucking money. He's
depending
rich.
on Rock's movie schedule and all that, obviously, and whether Brock is ready to come back or not, pull a string on it. SummerSlam, Lashley versus
Perfect.
Brock, Roman versus Rock.
Now's the time.
That would make me really want to watch SummerSlam.
Exactly.
But right now, you heard about their next pay-per-view, right?
No.
It's not Fastlane.
Oh, Backlash?
I mean, it's not Backlash. It's WrestleMania Backlash. It's called WrestleMania Backlash.
Why?
You want my take on it? It's because it's probably going to have a lot to do with what happened at these shows, hence keeping the Mania name, because they're going to tie it in, I guess. I hope, to make sense out of it. Otherwise, just call it Backlash.
Should have just called it Backlash either way.
It's legitimately called, and I guess, didn't TLC normally come after Mania? I don't know. I could be wrong. And then Backlash? Because they stacked them up.
Was TLC right after or before? Yeah, you're right. I think it was, yes. I think TLC was first.
And
I think you're right.
night 2, the only thing I think that might have been missing from these shows was a multi-man match. You don't have the Battle Royal. You didn't have you had the tag team. You had the tag team match on each night.
Mm-hmm.
No, you had 2 tag teams the first one and one the second night, and then you had all singles matches except for the triple threat. I would have loved to see a TLC match, a ladder match, something crazy with a bunch of people.
What do you think about Samoa Joe? He's been confirmed he's getting pulled from Raw announce team.
I hope it's so he can fight again. That's my hope.
That's what I'm hoping.
I hope he's cleared to fight and he's coming back.
That's the reason why.
Another thing, look at the champions right now all through the company. Almost all except for Cesaro and all the winners in Mania. Cesaro and Kevin Owens, and I guess Bianca, and you can count Rhea, I guess. All the champions are heels, except for maybe 1 or 2. Almost all the champions are heels.
Mm-hmm.
You got Lashley with MVP, which you can argue they're kind of turning the other way if possible. You got AJ and Omos, heelish. You got, Bianca's not. Nia and Shayna, Sheamus, Apollo, Roman. So majority of the champions are heels right now. I don't even like solid heel, solid face anymore. I like the blurred lines. People cheer who you want. No real 100% heel and faces, but almost all the champions are heels. Majority of them are heels. And I mean, if you're going to do that at any point in time, it's when you don't have fans, because you don't have to cater to the fans that much.
Good point.
And you can put whatever cheers and jeers and chants you want on at the Thunderdome.
I'm just looking at wrestling rumors. If there's anything else, do you know if there's anything else worth talking?
That's pretty much everything that
I think so.
They made the extracurricular stuff not really part of the stuff and I can't really argue with that. You made the champions. You got Bianca got her moment. Lashley holding on. Who's going to be next for Lashley?
I'm looking forward. I know you're not, but I'm looking forward to see where this is. Alexa Bliss going to be Sister Abigail?
Well, that's what I was just going to say. You got people like Rhea and Roman and all them definitely champions who they're going to fight next. The big question mark from Mania to me is, where do we go with the Fiend angle now?
Samson and Delilah thing. Yeah. Where are they going?
Yeah, Cassandra, if you go look at Sasha, go Google Sasha's images. It's over 1 foot long. Well, her hair is like 3 feet long that comes off of Bianca, but the lash on Sasha's belly, you can see at the end of the match, she's holding her arm over it because she's hurt. She's hurt bad. She was holding on to that. And when she moved her arm, it's blood coming out of it.
I'm glad they kept it for WrestleMania then, the whole hair whip thing.
Yeah, like I said, she used it a lot more in NXT, and I was wondering why she didn't whip people with it on a regular basis every once in a while, because all you're going to get in a match is a warning, or, has anyone got in trouble for using their hair in a match?
Yeah, you can't be disqualified for using your hair.
But that's a hell of a weapon, and that proved. I wouldn't be surprised if they do like some kind of ban of her, if they're going to have someone kind of be heel against her, being like, no, she can't use her hair in a regular match.
Wouldn't that be funny? Like the whole comical thing, like some male superstar seen what she did? Like R-Truth come out with his long hair to hit somebody or
Yeah,
something?
starts hitting people with,
To
or
start
Fiend.
winning?
Fiend
To
could
start
start
winning?
whipping
Like,
his
he can't get
braids around.
disqualified, so he
Fiend could
uses the
start
hair.
beating people with his braids. He has big dreads. He could slash someone like Mop with his dreads.
Oh my god.
I'm real. I mean, I dig the fact that they left us with a bunch of questions with the Fiend. I think that the black goo is overdoing it. You know,
I love the black goo thing.
it could
Me
be.
and Maddie were
Why
like,
wasn't it? It
"What
couldn't be
the
blood or anything like it. It's this black goo. It's all the satanic, the symbol and stuff, evil, this and that.
supernatural little bad shit?"
Supernatural, little. I don't mind some of the supernatural stuff, but the transformation of characters.
Well,
the
I'm glad
morphing
my
and
one
stuff,
prediction that you were sort of like, it wasn't a
burning people alive.
supernatural ending to
Yeah,
it.
true. Yeah, I guess so.
It wasn't like boom magic, boom bango boongo, Fiend wins. Like
I mean,
that
you got a
didn't
little bit of
happen.
everything. You got your celebrities mixed in. You had the Hall of Famers kind of dabbled in. You had Bailey coming around cringing
It was a
everybody.
feel good 2-night show. I really enjoyed it all.
I'd say good. I wouldn't go great or one of the best manias or
I knew this. It's not the best. To me, it's just above good. Like,
I knew the spectacle was going to be there with entrances and pyro and the big boat and stuff. But I mean, having fans back is great. They hardly ever showed the fans. They didn't show any crowd shots. Now at the beginning, I saw a crowd shot right at the beginning when they were showing the announcers with their Splash
Cardboard
Mountain
cutout.
outfits on, like they were ready to go on to Splash Mountain with their gear on. You see behind, and I was like, wow, this
Cardboard
place
cutout.
is packed. At first, I thought it was packed, and I'm like, oh, the whole upper ring is all cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, I seen that.
Now, I mean,
Behind the
why
show.
not do something like a Falls Count Anywhere, or take one of those fights into an area where there's not a lot of actual people, because you don't want to really sell that, but go towards a cardboard cutout. Take a cardboard cutout of like Hogan or somebody and beat someone with it. Use that to your advantage since it's there. But they just didn't want anybody to know that those were cardboard cutouts. They wanted you to believe it was full. Like, how many WrestleManias do you remember that every year they stop and they go, tonight's attendance, a record-breaking 100,000. It's like,
Yeah.
11,000 were here tonight. 3,285 were here. Wait, 2,086.
It's a Rona.
Yeah, so I understand. I get it. I get the
No,
whole thing.
it's a Rona record.
Yeah,
right?
I understand why they shouldn't do it. But once again, we can go back to preaching about, you got that many people. They were supposed to be wearing masks, and they obviously weren't, and they're all kind of crowded in one area. So what's the difference if they're on the whole arena, if they're just going to be all over the floor? I don't know. There was a big cheer I saw whenever over the loudspeaker, I saw a candid video somewhere that they announced the rain has ceased and you can now return to your seats.
I was laughing my ass.
Harley Davidson revving it up in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. Just in time for the end.
So quickly, since we're done with that, Raw brand new season of wrestling starts tonight with the Raw show. What do you think is going to happen?
Happy 412 day also, and that only really matters to me because I'm in a 412 area code.
Any call-ups?
Let me think here. I see people were saying Io Shirai.
Io? I could see Io.
They were saying Adam Cole.
I don't know about that.
But here's the thing. They're doing it. They're going to be back in the Thunderdome.
Yeah, it's way too early.
Will they bring people back when it's not?
They might bring a few. I think they will. They have to.
Now I'm looking at Raw previews right now, and it doesn't. I mean, it's all seemingly just reviews of what happened.
You would think they'd have to interject 3 new guys and like one girl, like
things to keep an eye on.
Just to keep things fresh, you think they would?
Well, I hope. I mean, the night after Mania normally is, like I said, you end all the angles. Do you bring them back? Do you start new angles? Do you bring in new opponents for the champion? So I just found a Raw preview here. It says things to keep an eye on. After Braun Strowman destroyed Shane McMahon by tossing him off a steel cage, is part-timer Shane O'Mac taking a vacation from television for a while? Or will he be wrapped in casts and bandages while devising a new plan to take out the dumb monster? That's number 1. Number 2, Bad Bunny delivered the goods at WrestleMania and pinned The Miz. What bogus excuse will Miz and Morrison come up with to explain away their humiliating defeat? Number 3, the night after WrestleMania is when we often see new additions to the roster. Could the biggest story coming out of tonight's episode be a call-up about someone like Adam Cole or Io Shirai. Next, is Keith Lee any closer to being cleared for a return to Raw? What
That's a
about
really
Charlotte
great
Flair?
question.
What about Charlotte Flair? And then are Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander completely irrelevant now that Mania is in rear view and their membership in the Hurt Business is expired? ? And finally, there's probably going to be new commentary team tonight, and it might not include Samoa Joe. The
New
concept
Canadian.
of 3-hour Raw episodes every week without Samoa Joe makes me nervous.
There's a Canadian. He got hired to do commentary.
Is he speaking
Aden
to
something. Aden.
Is he a
ADAN.
Canadian neighbor? Is he your
I know
lovely
the
Canadian?
Canadian neighbor got a job.
And they moved the Thunderdome
He's
to
like,
the
move
Ying-
over, eh?
Okay.
I got this.
Moving the Thunderdome to the Yingling Center in Tampa Bay for tonight's Fallout episode of Raw. So it will be a Thunderdome episode. It will be in the Yingling Center in Tampa. So who knows? Who knows what we're going to see on Raw tonight? Hopefully they bring something, man.
Something.
That used to be such an exciting thing. Is like what's going to happen next? What's going to go next? What's the fallout from Mania?
At least
we might as well
at
talk
least
about
3
the
new people.
since it matters to us. WWE 2K22 trailer debuted both nights. Did you
With
check that out?
The Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio versus Cesaro, which I gave my spin on it yesterday on my little LTD Mania kind of show. And number one, the graphics are awesome. They should be. It's 2021. We should be getting amazing graphics at this point.
New generation game like PS5. It better be good.
Hopefully it's also PS4. That'd be stupid for them not to put it out for the PS4 still, because it hasn't really transitioned completely over to all PS5s yet. It's still
That's
fresh.
a good question. Will they do that? Maybe they'll do it to force you to buy the PS5.
I personally think it's way too early to be talking about it as far as like what's going to be in it and who's going to be in it and all the details, because hopefully they're not.
When's it coming out? Like October still?
I heard rumors of July or August, but I hope that's false. I want them. Us gamers and stuff. And e-fitters, we're used to October. We're used to October.
Yeah.
That's normally when it comes out. Now, my question isn't more of the graphics, because I'm guaranteeing the graphics are going to be great. My question is, will they cater to people like us, the non-gamers that use it for creations? Will there be more creations? Will there be create a finisher? Will there be more in detail create an entrance? Will there
Imagine
be
if they took away the computer versus computer, we'd be screwed.
Well, I already heard rumors that they were going to have up to 300 characters in game, which I'm like, don't have too many, because then we won't have enough slots for our stuff. Now, granted, 2K19 has to be one of the best wrestling games ever. Why? We're still playing it 2.5 years later. Now it's partially because 2K20 was flop, but that game still does well. It still holds true now. It's still a very good game, and we prove it all the time. But I'm hoping for more creations. Create a finisher would be great to bring back. Create a story and stuff like that. More cutscenes, more stuff with the character. Who's going to be the feature guy that they have the whole mode on? Stuff like that. So that's still, like I said, a lot of people come out with speculations now, but it's way too early because they dropped the teaser, and it was the same teaser both nights. It wasn't anything new on night 2.
It'll be October. It's not going to be before October. There's no way.
So I'm hoping it's still October, and I don't know. We still got the AEW game coming out too, but from what I heard, like Wally's saying, the AEW game, I heard it's not until 2022 it's going to actually come out.
So where I live, you can't even. There's a waiting list still to get a PS5. So it's not even in my near future a PS5. I'm hoping for, obviously before the game comes out, I'm gonna get it.
I don't know. I may not. Depends. I mean, if my PS4 dies because it's getting kind of loud, I'm gonna. If they only want PS5, I'll probably do it. Another thing was, I was talking to you about Peacock and how you can't rewind or fast forward, and I'm getting mixed results because I tested a couple people. My friend Tony Lee Williams on the Twitter end, he was messaging that he could rewind and pause on his phone, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Wow.
I have it on my TV. I can't rewind. I can't pause. So I got on my phone and I couldn't rewind or pause there either. So I did retweet something about it. I asked him, are you paying the $9.99? Because I only pay $4.99. He says yes, because he didn't want commercials and stuff. So I'm thinking, is it you got to pay $9.99 to get pause and rewind? But then someone else retweeted, because I love that. I retweeted, and I don't, you know me, I don't pat myself on the back for too much, but it was pretty cool to see one of my tweets get over 100 likes, and that was the RVD
That's really cool.
backstage comment. That segment was dope. The pun in there. And I meet new people that way. All the people that liked it, you can see on Twitter who liked it, unlike YouTube. So I'll go into their pages and see, you know, hey, I'll follow you if you got a cool looking Twitter page too, and grow, you know, find new friends and fans and stuff. So I kind of like that. But I was tweeting the shit out of all that. So as soon as I tweeted to Tony, I think you got to buy the $9.99 to do it. Someone else came back and said, right now, only iOS items can pause and rewind. And those are Apple products. And I asked Tony right away, I said, do you have an Apple phone? Do you have an iPhone? He says, yes, I do. I said, that might be why you can pause and rewind. So if they only have it out to iOS, then it is a technical issue that they will eventually have everywhere. Now, it sucked for me because I forget what segment it was, but I was pissed. I went to the bathroom, come back, and I missed something. I missed an ending to a match. And I couldn't rewind it to watch it.
Yeah, that sucks.
So that sucked big time. All in all, better than I expected Mania to be. I mean, still a lot of cringeness.
Yeah, but you're gonna get a lot of cringeness.
Sheamus and Riddle.
No matter what company you watch, you're gonna get a bunch of cringeness.
Sheamus and Riddle. We didn't talk about this. Sheamus was going for a white noise off the top rope and slipped.
He slipped. Yeah, I seen that.
He still hit the white noise, but that would have been pretty wild if he hit that. But if he would have hit that from the top and not pinned him for the 3, that would have took a little bit off of it.
But wasn't it smart of him, knowing he slipped, not to go back to it?
Yeah. He just hit a regular white noise.
Riddle, and that I got much respect for somebody who's willing to not do something to protect an individual, not to really freaking hurt him.
It adds a little more realism too, because it's not like, holy shit, I'm scripted to do that move, I got to do it again. Right. So he did a regular white noise.
He has to have to do that spot.
Yeah, he did a regular white noise, and he went up top and hit him with a big drop knee off the top. You know, so, and it wasn't the end of the match anyway, so no. You know, it didn't really take away, but you know, things like that are going to happen. Mandy Rose falling down on the ramp, you know, it could have been avoided if they were taking more precautions about the rain, maybe.
Probably.
But, you know, shit happens. And that, like I say, if it's totally scripted from bell to bell, it looks too scripted. So some of the realism, some of the human aspect in it, you know, like Nia Jax saying the S word and not getting bleeped, you know, things like that. When she said my hole months ago or whatever, that wasn't scripted, but that became an internet phenomenon.
It did.
And I mean, I know they want to stay with what the programming was meant to be, but that human aspect, that's also like, I don't know if, you know, nowadays they probably know the outcomes, but back in the day, the announcers didn't know the outcomes of the matches. So you got real reactions. Oh, which reminds me, Michael Cole messed up the end of Bianca and Sasha. Did you hear about that?
Yep.
She's a kick out by Sasha, and Corey Graves made the quick save and said, no, she got her. And then he was silent for about 10 seconds, and then Michael Cole picked it up. But that happens. That's human error. Mistake.
Exactly. We can't nitpick human error.
No, I don't mind that at all. Thanks for being a part of the show there, old cronies. Good to have you.
Appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. Anybody who stopped by, we appreciate you.
And if you're watching a replay, please leave a comment. Let us know you stopped by. Check out the replay. We're gonna probably post this again, so those who are at work today and stuff can check out the replay and hear our opinions. That's all it is, folks.
Everybody has one.
Yeah,
especially wrestling fans. Nobody has more opinions than a wrestling fan, and that's all we are.
Yeah, wrestling. And I mean, we were gonna do a live watch along on night one, and I'm kind of glad we didn't. I like these little personal.
These are way better. I actually prefer these. I've done watch alongs to wrestling, and even if we had like 3 people, this is way better.
Well, I found out a bunch of things like watch-alongs this weekend. Watch-alongs can be, you know, some people who can't watch the show or don't want to pay for the pay-per-view. Sure, they might listen to you. Mark Caliber did his watch-along night one that got copywritten because of commercials and stuff, so they took it down.
Let's see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so he didn't do a night 2 because he did a little video on it. But I had fun popping in there with him. But I also really had fun live tweeting the show. The first night, I just live tweeted my reactions without tagging anything or anything. The second night, I was following WWE on BT Sports and WWE's Twitter channels, so I can take pictures. So I actually put a picture of everything that I retweeted and tagged WrestleMania 37 on each. And I think that's what got a lot of shine. I got some of my got 60 or 50 likes and stuff just because some people didn't pay for the pay-per-view, and
you're right.
It might have been how they followed it, you know. And I'm hoping to make some new friends out of some of those likes and stuff, because I like growing. No, I don't like call it fan base or people like that. I just like making new friends and meeting people all over the world. Positivity. That's why if we'd have done a live stream, be like, oh, that's stupid. Oh, this sucks. I don't want to be negative about it the whole time.
And it's also good. I really like this for the fact you have time to process it a night before you make your final conclusions, and stuff happens. And like we heard stuff that happened this morning that we put on today's show that we found out. Like, you know what I mean? We would have missed a lot. Like this gives us opportunity.
I had the results in front of me and maybe a couple notes, but a lot of it just came back because it was so fresh. It just happened.
Right.
Like all the little details, like this lashing of Bianca and Bad Bunny's entrance, and Omos, and all the little things that happened. The entrance of what's his name, Dabba-Kato, the bad Superfly by Tamina, all the cringy Bailey segments and stuff. So they got a little bit of everything. You had live entrances with Wale and Ash Costello. You had some superstitious stuff with Alexa and big question marks. You had title change. You had new superstars being created. You had legends like Cesaro and Kevin Owens getting big time wins on Mania. Well deserved. Oh, another thing. Sasha Banks is 0-6 in WrestleMania.
On purpose. I think they're doing that on purpose. It's a lead up to something. It's a story.
I hope, because I saw that today. I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." But and that's also goes in, and we talked about her smiling afterwards too, selling for the other person and really enjoying someone else stepping up. I mean, the fact that she was
she also knows what a hell of a job they both did.
Yeah, they really did. They worked
like pride. You can tell she was beaming with pride in every way for Bianca herself. The fans, like the fans had to feel good, like feeling that from the fans.
Be a Mania and a couple other sites, and still they're all reporting no matches, no segments announced for tonight. So they're kind of leaving it out there. I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
Smart, because it makes us watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to be, and that's why, if it would have been a Rock or a Brock come out, it'd be like, tomorrow they'll be here to confront the new champion or something, something like that. I don't mind either, but we didn't get a lot of big returns. But will we get some big returns or call-ups tonight?
Maybe.
Now I'm promoting Raw.
Oh yeah, stay tuned.
Tune in.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, not much. Even Googling Raw review for tonight, not a lot out there as far as what's going to go down tonight. So it'd be interesting. I'm normally positive about a lot of things, but I'm a pessimist when it comes to them dropping the ball and really too much hype and stuff. So I'm expecting not enough of what we want tonight. I want them to prove me wrong. I want them to prove me wrong.
Well, and like you said, there's no fans there.
Yeah, and it's what's next for Bobby Lashley, so I'm sure we'll get a lot of stuff about that. And I'm sure the first hour is probably going to be a lot of recapping Mania.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So here's a nice preview from a website I just looked up. Preview for Raw tonight. Fallout from WrestleMania, and then what's next for Lashley. That's the whole preview.
So it's funny.
Not too much anywhere as far as a preview for tonight, but I really enjoyed doing a review with you.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's long overdue that we're on air together and doing some stuff, because we always had good
right place, right time, right? Right place, right time. It feels right now. It feels right.
Well, we built our channels over a couple years, and we did our own things, and we've always talked about working together, because anytime we've had calls, just me and you, we have really good chemistry with each other. We got the Canadian and American mix here.
Can-Am connection going down.
We both don't mind being corny and bad dad jokes to make people laugh and stuff. So, we have a common goal, and that's just to make people laugh and bring people together.
Exactly, and two guys talking wrestling.
And we never claim to be experts. We never claim to be the best at anything. We never claim to know it all. Like a lot of these places, you go to these channels. I won't name any names. I could definitely spout out a few.
I can name five easy right now.
Yeah, channels that do wrestling reviews and stuff, which think they know everything. I will drop one name, and that's Wrestling Days. I really like him. He's from the UK. He's much like me and you, dude. He's very realistic and unbiased. And gives you a real take on it, and that's who I like to watch sometimes. If you want to watch a watch along, he's live for everyone. He called me Blessed Radio for 2 years until I got one of his mods and kept I've got biased radio and
Yeah, I'm saying
radio.
Blessed's better than biased.
So it was
No, I
blessed
take
radio
that.
for so long, and I
Take
was like,
that.
I'll take it if it's blessed. There's Zerk coming in late. But I finally got a hold of one of his mods and tweeted something out that he wanted. He did mention last night that there should be a "here's how it started, here's how it's going" post on Twitter with Kane. Like he showed up with the long hair, ripping through a cage when he first appeared. And whenever it was, 2007, I don't know, whenever it was. And then have him in a suit, wearing his ring, smiling all corny like, and stuff. So I did tweet that out too.
It'd be funny to see him sitting at his mayor's desk.
Yeah. So it was a very weird transformation. But what's next? What are they going to do? What new feuds are we going to see tonight? Will we see call-ups? Should be interesting. And now we've had how many days in a row of WWE programming? And one more? Why not?
Yeah, damn.
And we're going to have another one with NXT on Tuesday. But don't watch NXT this Tuesday. Watch Platinum Dragon Wrestling with our boy Shifty. He's going up head to head with him.
Check him out.
And he's such a huge NXT fan, so he'll have to watch the replay. But yeah,
and we'll have to have Shifty on here someday whenever we do our next pay-per-view thing.
Yeah, I told him about it the one time, but he's very busy, man. He's got 2 little dragonlings running around taking up his time, his family, so he's a busy dude. But yeah, if we ever do this again, and I'll do my Get Blaze show sometimes as well, and you're always welcome to pop on as anybody you want. You don't have to be in character. I say it to everybody, when I do my little StreamYard stuff like this, it's just shooting this stuff, man.
Exactly. And you and I are going to be doing our review stuff in the last 15, 20 minutes. If somebody we know actually watched the show and can contribute, we'll let them jump on. We got no problem with that.
Yes, I had a blast, man. I think everybody who stopped in, once again, if you're watching a replay, because we're going to promote it some more, definitely leave us a comment. What do you think about Mania? What's your favorite match? What do you think's going to come out?
What didn't you like?
Yep.
What went wrong? What went right? Everything. Like, seriously, leave a comment. Just let us know.
And if you can, go watch a Broken Skull Sessions with Stone Cold and Chris Jericho. I'm done with 1 hour, and I can't wait to watch the second hour.
I got to watch the rest of that. That's what I'm
very entertaining stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you, Blaze. And
thanks for having me.
We'll do this again.
Definitely.
Sounds good. Okay, bye-bye.
See you, everybody.
See you guys. Ciao. Peace.